Ready? Play.
Okay, talking tennis here at the Davis Cup in Malaga. Just going to try and find somebody from Finland. I don't know if there's anyone here from Finland. Oh, hello. You're from Finland, I guess. And do you live here in Spain, or you?
No, at least not yet.
Okay, not yet. When did you arrive?
2 days ago.
2 days ago. Right now, you're going to be on Talking Tennis. It's a new YouTube channel, and we've got about 12 subscribers. But maybe with you being on, you might help us get to 20 or 30.
We're gonna have 16.
Maybe 16, yeah. Tell me about the tennis so far today, and have you been having fun?
Yes, we have a great day for tennis today because these guys are so great players.
These guys are good players?
Yeah. By the way,
player.
my name is Virtanen. My surname is Virtanen.
He's waiting his turn. It's coming.
I have a racket here also, so I'm ready to play.
Small misunderstanding. We thought he's going to play on a doubles, but okay, so.
That's why I need some for courage, you know.
What about your man Emil, though? He's injured, so is it going to be... Because right now, of course, it's 1-1. It's all down to the doubles against Canada. And, yeah, you got it on. Good. And by the way, you're flown from Finland, right? So you're flown from Finland, you've got a beer, and you're watching it on your phone.
Of course. Yeah. You don't. Wait.
I know.
We are ready.
Let's be
We are ready.
practical.
Life is full of mysteries.
Yeah. One of the mysteries
We were
is...
queuing half an hour for the beer. So and finally, when we got it, so we decided to stay, enjoy it for a moment.
Good word, cherish. By the way, tell me about the beer prices in Spain compared to Finland.
Beer prices, quite good actually.
Oh, in Finland they're quite good, or quite good in Spain?
Spain.
Yeah. How much is a beer in Helsinki or in Finland?
No idea. I would say 10 euros.
10 euros. And how much was this beer then? Do you know?
I didn't pay it, so.
I know. Maybe five euros.
That's
All
why I said it's very affordable, of course.
And one last
We have
question.
good friends.
One last question for all of you. Who is winning, Finland or Canada?
Finland.
Finland, of course.
Finland!
There we go. Thanks, guys. Take care. Talking tennis. Finland? Español? ¿Habláis inglés? Okay. Why are you here today?
I received the entries from the university.
Oh, okay. But are you supporting Canada or Finland?
Both.
Oh, both. Very diplomatic, muy diplomático. ¿Cómo se dice en español? Diplomático. Yo hablo español, pero mi canal de YouTube es solo en inglés. Pero tu nivel de inglés tan bueno. And your English?
No, I am Spanish, but
Ah, you speak a little bit. Gracias. Hablamos. Finland? If you're from Finland? That's really what I'm really keen to find. So this is Talking Tennis. It's not live, don't worry. So if we make a mistake, we can edit it. But tell me about your day today so far.
Oh, absolutely great. You know, we've been waiting for this for a long time.
Yeah,
and now we're doing it.
And it could happen. I mean, right now, 1-1.
It may happen, but we'll see.
Did you fly from Finland today?
No, we've been here for the golf, and this is the main thing.
So when did you arrive? When did you arrive? Sorry.
They came Saturday.
Saturday. Okay, Saturday. And you got here when?
Here?
Yeah.
A month ago for
A
golf.
month ago?
Yeah.
Oh, you've been playing golf for a month?
Yeah.
And when are you going back to Finland?
Oh, next Thursday.
Okay, so this is the end of your trip. And it's lucky that Finland are here and they're making it happen anyway. And you had a good time?
Very good.
All right, thank you very much. Take care. Buenas. Okay, I'm just going to have one more. Let's go for one more, shall we? While my setup here is still working. Finland does Malaga. Okay, I think I Finnish?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's what I want. I want Finnish people. And you speak English?
Yes.
Yeah. Is there anybody in Finland that doesn't speak English? Everyone.
Yeah, there are.
Is there anyone in Finland that doesn't drink beer?
No.
No. Have you flown from Finland like today, or do you live here, or what's the situation?
Yesterday.
Okay. And what time did you arrive?
We arrived at 6 o'clock yesterday
When are you leaving?
from Finland
When do you go back to Finland?
next Sunday.
Oh, you go Sunday. So
Yeah.
you're going to make the semi-finals, do you think?
Yeah, no, I think not.
You think Canada will
no.
win?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know yet.
We have been here 2 months.
Oh, you've been here 2 months.
Yeah.
You have a nice tan.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yes,
And
yes.
what have you been doing for 2 months apart from drinking beer?
Garden and look after our house and so on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
have a house here.
Yeah.
Anyway, and you having a good time?
Yes, I have a very good time.
Viva España, no?
What?
Live Spain. It's a
Yes, yes.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And Talking Tennis. That's the YouTube channel, and you're going to be famous.
Okay, yeah.
I'm looking for somebody from Finland. Is anyone here from Finland? You're from Finland. So this is Talking Tennis. It's a new and amazing YouTube channel, and you're going to be my last people that I'm going to talk to. Are Finland going to win?
Of course.
Okay. And when did you arrive?
We live here.
Oh, you live here.
Yeah.
Are you living in this famous village, it's near here? And yeah, but that's the famous village where lots of Finnish people live, right? Yeah. Do you live? Do you,
southern town in Finland.
and exactly the most southern town. And this is a YouTube channel. Wow, you are playing, no? You're
He's Björn Borg.
yeah, beyond board. Okay, good. And
shorts.
are Finland going to win against Canada?
Yeah, we're kind of favorites now.
Well, almost. I mean, the doubles. No Emil Rusovori, but the doubles now, you've got a chance.
It's even better, you know. Harry, hyvä Harry. Harry is one of the top doubles players. And Otto, he just won, so he's very hot playing and very yeah. That's nice. And Otto has a huge game, so you know he's gonna be very good in doubles.
Do you have a huge game?
I do.
Do you have a huge game?
Of course, yeah. But only in the bars. Only in the bars here. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Björn Borg.
Nice, beyond board, yeah. Wonderful, thank you very much. Thank you as well. You especially, thank you. Okay, I think we got a nice little Finnish touch there here in Malaga, the Davis Cup. So, over and out for now. But who knows? The Finnish might still be here in a day or two and therefore be in the semi-finals. And we might get a bit more Finland mania here in Malaga. Take care, everyone. Hi, Novak. I don't know if you saw what Vasek said last night about organising and tennis could and should be even bigger than it already is. If only the people organising it were doing their job properly. He highlighted the balls, he highlighted playing late at night and then early in the morning and injuries. I just wondered whether you heard that, but also if you'd like to add something.
No, I haven't heard that. I actually saw Vasek just before I came here to see you guys, but I haven't seen his statement on that. But there's been a lot of discussions on the effect of the different balls and basically every week on the joints and the wrist and the shoulders and the elbows. And you know, I think someone told me that in terms of injuries this year comparing to other years is, you know, drastically has gone up. So yeah, in terms of the balls, I absolutely agree. There should be some discussion on that. I actually spoke about that with Andrea Gaudenzi, the ATP president, and Massimo, who is the CEO, in Paris during the Paris-Bercy week. And you know, I shared my opinion and my views, and then you know, obviously they are thinking about various different options and ways of how to regulate that and how to make it better for the players and prevent injuries. In terms of the scheduling, I think you know there has been a lot of criticism and a lot of basically players complaining about it. So I think that should be addressed in a proper way. Obviously, Davis Cup and ITF is regulated differently from ATP Tour and from Grand Slams. You have different governing bodies, different schedules, different broadcasting demands. In the end of the day, we know that the TV is the one deciding, fortunately or unfortunately, but you know there has to be more, I guess, thorough discussions on that as well.
Ready. Play.
And now here I go slice. This is normal flat. So see, sometimes we don't actually. Sometimes we don't. And now here I go slice. This is normal flat. So see, sometimes we don't actually. Sometimes we don't. And now here I go slice. This is normal flat. So see, sometimes we don't actually. Sometimes we don't.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Ready. Play.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good evening, if you're in Europe. And
If you're in Jeddah, and if you're in Jeddah, I guess as well already.
But this is the last match of the day, and it's an exciting one, right?
Yeah, it's probably the one where we don't really have a clue who's going to win it. I mean, in one, we probably thought that we had a clue in Stickett and Kobori, and it actually didn't, work out like this.
Yep.
But yeah, this is the one where we just absolutely have no favorite.
Yeah, it could go either way. I'm very curious to see how Michelsen takes his form from the Challenger Tour, and obviously the remarkable rise that he's had. I say remarkable because he was 600 at the start of this year, around 600-ish in the rankings, and now he's top 100. Like he's, very much going to be playing the Australian Open. So that's like very similar to the rise that Ben Shelton had this time around last year, and now he's going to get to play everything for the first time next year, and he's another exciting American prospect.
Yeah, the Ben Shelton of 2023. Absolutely. Maybe not the same publicity, maybe not the same thing. But yeah, the story is very similar. Of course, Shelton had already played a year in college. Michelsen was about to enroll. Yep. He ended up not doing that, but they finished at about the same ranking. Now the only thing that Alex Michelsen has to do is to make the quarterfinals at the Australian Open, and then we can call him the Ben Shelton of this season.
Yeah,
easy task.
Yep. I mean, he'll have to save a match point in the first round too.
Yeah, against Zhizhen Zhang or another similar-ish player. Yosuke Watanuki would work, maybe.
Yeah.
And we already have them on the court, which means that, well, they're going to start pretty soon, given there's no warm-up.
Yeah.
Explaining the rules, which takes a lot at the NextGen finals. Actually, it takes a lot of time. And sometimes even the umpires don't know them, as we saw with Mohamed Layani today.
Yeah.
So if you guys didn't see it, he basically well, after the first 3 points of the second set, he realized that they should have switched ends, and then he makes them do that after the first 3 points of that game. Pretty funny. Of course, it's probably the first time Layani umpires something like that, or the first time at least in a year, in that exact same format. So understandable and pretty funny. He also had some electronic line calling flops.
Yeah.
After which they had to replay the point because a serve
That
was
happened in the last match between Shibaya.
Yep.
Shibaya and Manasha.
Precisely. And it's Alex Michelsen about to, well, actually, he has already started us off with, I guess, an ace that I missed. But yes, indeed. That's why the shot clock is only 15 seconds. Of course, if you were here earlier during the stream about
Yeah.
Nardi and
see
First, then you
some-
know about all of that.
You see some comparisons in Mickelson with Brooksby. Maybe Brooksby, but with a bigger serve. There's some
Yesterday,
similarities in terms of the court craft.
yeah, yesterday we had that Davis Cup, of course, not Davis Cup, but Next Gen Finals live preview with Miles and Anastasia. And actually, Miles, I think, asked me about like a American player comparison to Mickelsen, because they both thought he was like Opelka-ish, not because of how he played, but just because of how he looked and that he was tall. And I, obviously told them that, no,
Okay.
Opelka, no, it doesn't make any sense. And actually, the players that I brought up were Jensen Brooksby, and also this one is a little maybe controversial, Ryan Harrison.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, he was very like serve and forehand centric, right?
I mean, less, definitely more so than Mickelsen, but I think Harrison, I brought him up because he was like more about the sound ground strokes with a lot of shape on them compared to all of the other American like serve forehand bots. Ryan
Yeah.
Harrison wasn't as like, maybe he played a bit like Andy Roddick, I guess. That in later in Roddick's career, when he was like actually a very good defender and kind of just played baseline tennis with a big serve. And that's sort of, I guess, what Ryan Harrison in his prime also tried. Mickelsen, I mean, he definitely has a better backhand than them. And
he does.
I was just sort of trying to find someone who was not as reliant on that serve and forehand combo and was just more like, good baseline game despite being a bit clunky of a mover. Still, of course, a great serve. Maybe even more he can get out of that serve with the physicality.
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah,
I had
was
more
one
of
the
like
guys I
a,
mentioned.
I had more of like a mix between, I don't know, Kevin Anderson and Brooksby, just in terms of like, Anderson also is like, he's a serve. I mean, he had a pretty good backhand. I liked his backhand quite a lot. He wasn't the best mover. He was a little clunky at times, but when his feet were set and everything, he could.
Yeah.
He could, perform some pretty elite baselining. So.
Yeah, Mickelson is definitely faster than that, but he can look like a bit heavy-footed at times, definitely. The great thing, I guess, about the Next Gen Finals here for Mickelsen and for us, as enjoyers of tennis, is that we finally get him playing against guys like that, and not just, again, Tennis Sandgren, Nishash Basavaredi, Tyson Kwiatkowski, Bernard Tomic, the guys who he has been playing literally every week recently. The same sort of stalish fields in the States in challengers, but now we actually get him against some different players. I mean, to be fair, we did get that in Winston-Salem. We did get that at the US Open. Earlier this year, he was actually in Europe. He played the challenger in Blois. He played Mallorca. So it's not like he hasn't had the chances. He also played the junior slams and etc. He's not like Ben Shelton, not leaving the States until this year. But still, we just don't really have a clue how he's going to perform against guys like this. Medjedovic, Van Asch, Shellbach. Shellbach, I guess, was playing in the States, but I don't think they bumped into each other.
What did you think of the Shelby and Manasha match?
2 out of 17 on breakpoint. I mean, Van Asch is probably like the best matchup for Shelby out of these guys. Maybe also Medjedovic, if Medjedovic can, he can just have a terrible day at the office and overhit everything. But I think that someone like Michelsen, who's like so all-rounded and he's so much heavier, he's probably not going to allow Shelby too much space to, execute all of these touch shots and the cat and mouse games. So I think that against Van Asch, it was a pretty good matchup for him to start with. I'm glad that he was competitive. Probably could have been just a little bit more competitive if he just took some of the breakpoints, deciding points.
Really cost him because his level was pretty high at the first 2 sets, and he was causing a lot of problems with Van Asch, like bringing him forward and playing these sort of drop shot lob combos, just creative stuff with angles and a lot of variety and flair in his game, of course, and serving big sometimes. Like he actually didn't have a great start. He went down 2 love, but then after that he started to kind of dig his teeth into it a little bit more, and then we actually saw quite a good match for 2 sets. But then, Van Asch was just a bit more disciplined overall.
Yeah, but I think he did give a good account of his game. Hopefully that's going to be like the rest of his tournament as well. I mean, I'm not saying he has to go 0-3 or something. I actually gave this, I guess, a bold-ish prediction that he's going to end with a 1-2 record, that he's going to get someone. I actually thought it was probably going to be Van Asch or Medjedovic, so, I'm kind of running out of my options. But anyway, if that's the rest of his event, looking competitive against these guys, having a few of these drop shot lob combinations and just showing off what he's all about, then it's still a win for him in a way. Here, of course, we're talking about a different status of players and guys who are like desperate to get out of this group.
I guess he's decently quick as well. I was surprised by his speed in some of the occasions. I mean, I'd seen him play a few times here and there before, but he was really doing well on a lot of those cat and mouse points, like way better than Van Asch, who just looks so, he's got to polish up that part of his game. But
Van Asch just hits a good ball off the ground. Like he's just solid.
Oh, the backhand is very good. The backhand is
it's got a
he has a
weird
pretty
grip
strong
to
like
it as well.
He's like a pretty strong like left hand. So when he's like steering it, it's like it's not the most traditional looking.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, it's almost like Bartoli, but if Bartoli was like, righty and didn't play with 2 hands on both wings. But he just sort of he just really uses that left arm and just extends, and he's good. He's good when he's like pushed into a corner, actually, more than when he's like just kind of stationary. And he's just very kind of solid and not really. There's like not that much more to his game. Like he's got to add more stuff, but
yeah, like in his current state, he is not capable of much at main tour level. But it might be very soon that he develops in a way. This was pretty weird because this return from Medjedovic was great, and then I see his reaction and I'm like, was it out? I mean, he seems frustrated, but actually it is in, and we have 2 breakpoints for Michelsen, for Medjedovic, since of course the deciding point will also be a breakpoint.
Also the breakpoints really hurt him. Shelby in the last match, like it's
2 out of 17.
So many chances. Yep. Yeah, you have to come pretty fast and furious between points because only 8 seconds right between first and second serve. Which is a new thing.
Yeah, I saw Fizz was kind of like adjusting his service motion because of that, actually. Like when he was between his first and second serve, he actually had to be a little quicker in his preparation. Nardi probably less so. The other guys I wasn't commentating on, I wasn't paying as much attention. Like I was just watching it on TV, but no, I didn't like follow basically all the movements of every player. And now we have that deciding point, and Michelsen has chosen the outside. A given for all lefties. For righties, they have sort of been switching Nardi actually
Yeah.
was choosing the deuce side every single time, and I think didn't land his first serve either time. But yeah, giving that second serve to Medjedovic
Yeah.
here really gives him the advantage, and he blasts another deep return at Michelsen's feet, which I guess has been the theme of this game, more or less, like 2 or 3 points
Yeah.
won in this.
So
in
far,
this
that's
manner.
been yeah, that's been the winning thing for him. Just going hard and deep down the middle, and just forcing error of a deep return.
Deciding points makes it easier to break, says John. Pretty much, but then I guess that's why they have the server, choosing the side, right? To sort of counteract that, to give some advantage to the server. Well, the format is supposed to be all about like the pressure points and how many of them you can get, and well, Shellbike did get 17 of them on the Van Asch and only capitalized on 2. So
Looks like Damien is cut out, but he was about to say Stricker. He's finally back. Yeah. You cut out as you were saying Stricker.
Is that my internet?
Looks like he's not
or
back yet.
I guess it must be mine. I thought so. Shit.
I think you're good now. At least for now. Although you probably have to come in and out. Yeah. Okay. Oh wow, what a get by Michelsen. Medjedovic going for the drop shot. Trying to wrong foot Michelsen as he's recovering back into the middle, and Michelsen gets that, and he's able to flick it cross court. Great control on the stretch.
Yeah, I guess it should be better now. I switched to
The hustle.
another provider. Yeah, can't even remember what I was talking about, but it was something about...
Yeah, something about Stricker.
Oh yeah, the Stricker also had a terrible breakpoint conversion rate today, and he was also kind of struggling physically. So I don't really know where that puts him. He still has a match against Fuse left, and that doesn't bode well for his chances. And also, of course, against Nardi, honestly, tomorrow, he might as well lose that.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame that Stricker and Feast in the same group.
Yeah, it seems
We might
like
get
they might
2
not
matches
leave.
between them.
Well, yeah, but will Stricker exit the group now?
Yeah, it's possible maybe he doesn't now because he's not the favorite in the Feast match. But that could also really go his way too.
It could, but I don't know if he's actually ready for it physically. I mean, he had this taping on his thigh, and like he wasn't committing fully to moving. When he was just standing there and hitting, great, but yeah, a number of balls he like didn't fully chase down. Yeah. German says that the back was actually the back we knew about, right? The back was the one that forced him to pull out of Ismaning, and then Helsinki and Danderit as well. But the leg was new, and I think the leg was actually more important. I think it wasn't allowing him to just go chasing down balls from corner to corner, and Yeah, as a whole, I think it was a big factor in the Koboli match. So yeah, I'm not too optimistic regarding Striker and exiting the group stage. Maybe it's decent for him that he actually lost to Koboli and not to Nardi, but well, he might as well lose to Nardi tomorrow.
Yeah.
Nothing really so far to suggest.
Yeah,
that
he's
he
been
won't be in trouble.
struggling with his leg for some time now, right? Stricker. He's
Um,
been kind of struggling with niggling injuries the last 2-3 months. I remember even in Basel he had that leg taped.
He
was
did
playing
like
against
the
Hurkacz.
week, I guess. Yeah. Hurkacz? Did he play Hurkacz? Then he lost to Umber.
Oh yeah, Umber. Yes, Umber is Umber 7-6 and yeah, I think it was Umber.
And by the way, we have the schedule for tomorrow as well. So Striker Nardi are starting. Then we have Fisko Boli. And then, of course, the evening session. First, it's going to be the losers battle. So Michelsen or Medjedovic against Schelbach. And then the winners battle. So Vanash against either Michelsen or Medjedovic. Yeah, I really want to see how Striker looks tomorrow, but just by his physical state of today, I think he might be in real trouble against Nardi as well. Would be funny if Koboli just beats Fizz tomorrow and wins the group. Anyway, 3-2. So far, that one break based on the deep returns from Medjedovic has been enough, but he still needs to serve it out. Even though we have the tiebreaker at 3-all, of course, you need to win 4 games to actually get the set, which is different than in the usual 6 games format.
Yeah. Medjedovic has interesting technique on his backhand, right? He's like, he kind of hits it very close to his body. But it does the job.
How do you see the matchups for tomorrow, says German? Yeah. Again, Striker Nardi, I just don't know if I trust Dominic physically. Nardi was good enough today to sort of suggest that I think it's a close match. Fizz Koboli, given that Fizz finally found it in him, to fight for the match against Nardi after the first set and a half, I would expect him to clean up there. And yeah, the other matchups, I guess we don't really know yet. But against Schelbach, both Michelsen and Medjedovic, they will be the favorites. Probably Michelsen the bigger one for me, just because Medjedovic can hit himself off the court. And I would see either the winner of this one as the favorite against Vanash, although relatively slight one, I guess, but actually still a favorite.
Mm.
Is it the same for you?
Yeah. The Vanash one is these players have to be careful because he just remains so solid and he just allows you to beat yourself sometimes. But I do like Vanash more on clay. Is that generally his preferred?
It's a tough call. Of course, he won the French in the juniors, but he's had big challenger titles on both surfaces. Main tour, I guess he has 2 ATP, 2 quarterfinals, both surfaces as well. It's pretty hard to say actually where he's better. I think he has similar issues. Like the higher the level is of the opponent that he's playing, I don't feel like he can really help himself either on clay or on hard courts via whatever. So
maybe the extra
hard to
time on
answer
his
that.
forehand can help him a little bit.
That's true, but then again, it won't penetrate the court too much either.
Yeah.
Like it will just sit up, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tricky. I mean, he's definitely not a player where I would be able to answer this easily. Probably before this year, I would have said clay hands down, but I mean, I think he's shown enough this year, especially indoors. to suggest that it's not so simple.
Yeah.
Anyway, Hamad Medjedovic, first set 4-2. We have some stats as well. Medjedovic with 5 forehand winners. Brutal. And also 2 aces. And actually even less than Michelsen, but more errors as well. But of course, what matters is that he got that break, which I think was the only break point. I mean, the only 2 break points that we had this set, right?
Yeah, was just not really able to win a second serve point. I mean,
Ooh. Well, but I guess it was only like a couple of them because he hit 88% of his first serves in.
Yeah, it was.
So it must have been like 2 of them or something. So not a big stat yet. Also, like over 50% of Medjedovic's serves have been unreturned.
Yeah, I would be surprised if one of these guys won in straights in this match.
Yeah, as a whole, like we won't get too many free setters here. The format is too random for that, and the players are too evenly matched for that.
So many deciding points.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
actually, I think when Alcaraz played, did he? Yeah, he did.
He dropped a set. I think he even dropped to Cerundolo, didn't he?
Yeah, he dropped a set to
Cerundolo.
I think he beat
and
Runa
one more as well, I think.
Okay, maybe no, he didn't. He didn't lose a set against. I'm just going off of memory. I just want to see if I can remember. I know he beat Korda in the final.
Oh no, actually Cerundolo was the only one. Yeah,
and he beat Nakashima. Yes. Straights.
It's not a great day.
But
for
some
my
tie breaks like 4-3. Yeah, of course there was that insane point against Nakashima, which.
Yeah, like he runs back and forth and wins the point, something like that.
Well, yeah, and then also it hits the net cord, and then he has to like.
That's what you mean. Okay, I remember now. Yeah.
Like this. I was like,
I got advice Miami, sort of.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I know what you mean now. Yeah, there were so many insane points from that Alcaraz campaign that I was probably thinking of another one. It wasn't the only insane point in that campaign. Definitely not.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like Hamad Medjedovic is gonna threaten again, and he's actually like really making that movement of Michelsen look really slow today.
Yeah, Michelsen's like hitting his legs, telling himself to.
Yeah. First shot that he had Michelsen off balance with, and like the point was over. Still took a couple more to win it, but.
Yeah.
Well, one breakpoint has been saved at least. Yeah, I guess that Alcaraz campaign was a bit of an outlier in terms of straight set wins. Although last year we had some, including the final, and also in groups, Nakashima was pretty dominant against the Hedgehog and Passaro as well. And then Draper beating Musetti.
He had a 5-setter with Arnaldi.
Yeah. Arnaldi lost to a Hedgehog in 3. So actually there were quite a few 3-setters. Ooh, that's finally some great play from Michelsen, getting that wrong footing forehand in. And now the deciding point, the third break point that he needs to save. Medjedovic probably thought he was in control after the backhand down the line, but Michelsen is there with the counter. Last time he chose outside, right? So let's see if he follows it up as well.
Yes.
Actually, no. He went for the deuce this time and gets the point. Serves to the Medjedovic forehand. And Hamad nets it. So Michelsen has managed to stay alive in this set. Does anyone want to see Hubi Hurkacz in off-season training? No.
No.
I mean, if it's a good clip, why not? Is he practicing the forehand?
Yeah, I was just about to say. I don't really want to see him hit those.
No, it was.
Yeah, I mean, the
better.
first half of the season, it was just painful to watch him. Yeah.
It was marginally better in the second half of the season. Oh, so it's just It's just
Yeah,
some
it was.
fitness training. Okay. Ooh, with a mask.
Oh wow.
On. Yeah, that's sort of Hubert Hurkacz we can watch. When he's hitting his forehead, depends.
Yeah. Although sometimes I just laugh at how good of a serve he has. Because I'm like, it's just, there's times when you just have to guess. No matter how good of a returner you are. Easy hold for Medjedovic. Victor Troicki likes what he sees.
Yeah, I was talking about this during the Fields match today. That we've got in Fields' box, you've got Sergi Bruguera, you've got Paul-Henri Mathieu, you've got Sebastian Grosjean. So it's really hard to sort of battle against him in terms of who has the best coaching box here. But if anyone has any chance, then it's Medjedovic with Troicki.
Yeah. Does Feast really have all three of those coaches?
I mean, they're not. I don't think
just-
Mathieu at least is not actively working with him. I'm not sure what sort of capacity it is. But Bruguera and Grosjean, actually, yeah. Mafia, Paul-Henri Mathieu.
Bruguera worked with Zverev for a while, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
they are
okay,
actively working with Fields here. Yes, Paul-Henri Mathieu, I have no clue. Before seeing him in the crowd or in Fields' box today, I actually had no clue that he was going to be there. So
yeah, I remember watching Feast in Hamburg, and I just saw Lubicic in the box. And then I realized, he's got this new role as like a
exactly
he works for the FFT. It's like a consultant for all the young French players. Yeah. He's got to pay the bills, now that his Federer retired. Damien.
Yeah.
Say something. No, it looks like you're frozen. That's why.
Yeah, no. Someone basically asked me to give him like 2 words of comment on every NextGen match today, and so I'm busy writing that. But of course, no. I'm watching Michelsen, Medjedovic, fairly all. Decent backhand
Yeah, you
+1.
looked like you were frozen. I was like,
Yeah, I was just focused, I
okay.
think. But I'm already ending my write-up on their Streaker Koboli match, so I'm getting there.
Oh yeah,
It's the second match out of 3.
Is that for last word on sports?
No, it's literally a friend of mine asking if I can do that for him.
Did you? Or is that mostly main tour stuff?
What was it that you said? Because again, I lost you. Yeah.
The last word on sports. Do they cover challengers as well? Or is it mostly main
I
tour?
have a weekly article on the Challenger Tour recapping it. Theoretically, I could write more, but I don't really have much of an incentive to do that. So to sort of ask that question, there is some Challenger content. It's not the main focus because, well, the main focus is like views, and Challenger content will not be too popular. But yeah, when I went when I went to some challengers on on a last word in tennis press pass, then I was actually publishing articles as well, and like they have no issue absolutely with anything. If I wanna post an article, I can post it regardless of what it was. But yeah, right now I just go probably just on the podcast most of the time. I don't have to write then, so then it's better. Michelsen saved another deciding point, by the way, and it was a pretty crazy one. Had to smash like 2 or 3 times, but the last one, Medjedovic finally can't get it back.
Yeah. Easily lost the first game. Had to save 3 break points there. So yeah, now he just has to figure out what to do on the Hamad serve.
All right, I'm done with my friendly write-up. I can now watch Hamad Medjedovic serve and play, which is actually yeah, even John was asking his Diamond Frozen again, which is actually one of my favorite things to do, I guess, in pro tennis. Watch Hamad Medjedovic play.
Yeah,
Draper's
forehand and Malaga.
Yeah, there was a question about that, but I think I cut out around that time. No.
Well, in Malaga, he really just messed up a couple of key points and tie breaks. But that was mostly like the double faults, right? 2 double faults in the first set tie break, and then...
Yeah, but what about his forehand?
Yeah. I mean, his forehand, when he was in attacking positions, was decent at times, right? I mean, it was doing the job. He was holding serve. He was being aggressive behind it, coming forward. A couple of times he went for drop shots on it, which, yeah, he just didn't execute them properly. Like there's this one in the second set tie break. But for the most part, yeah, like his forehand more clinical than it is. I do feel like it's a little bit better on faster courts, indoors. And just faster surfaces in general, just penetrates a bit more. You can use it to come to the net and finish, and yeah, he's got a lot of easy power. So
yeah, I think he definitely has a bit of a dilemma as to how to use that forehand. Like it went from being a massive weapon to a shot he mostly was using defensively to a mix of that, and it should be a mix of that.
Yeah.
Maybe the proportions aren't always quite right, but yeah, especially recently, I think he's found that ridiculous forehand down the line a lot of the time, especially when he's like sliding into it or like barely getting to that out of position. He still gets that, and yeah, it is a bit of a tricky shot to utilize. I think it's probably
Yeah.
maybe a little too long.
He does
in terms
have
of the
he does have
motion.
quite a lot of options on it because he can just like loop the ball in and just defend with it, and
Yeah.
then he can also just
Oh yeah, the looping, the resetting the points, that's also a very good
Yeah.
thing for him. So yeah, I think it's really all about just finding the right proportions. But sometimes we've seen players like expose the weaknesses of it as well. And there are definitely matches where
Yeah.
it just brings in fairly unforced errors, and it's definitely the side that's a little more fragile, which makes sense with
yeah.
how the even with the technical side of both his strokes, right? It makes sense that the forehand would be the one to crack, even if
Yeah.
maybe as well it's like the one that has more potential on it, I guess.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the peak is actually higher on the forehand, but
Yeah.
the overall, like, I mean, his neutral rally ball off the backhand, he doesn't miss nearly as much, and he can trade all day with it, and it's or the pace he can, it's a very solid shot. So far, Medjedovic is really holding easily, and it's Michelsen who's just trying to, keep the scoreboard pressure.
Yeah, stay alive until maybe a chance pops up. So far, it hasn't, but of course, he's done well to save the two. Well, actually, the three, I think, breakpoints in the set already, but 2 deciding points included.
Yeah, 40. It's so weird to say 3 when it's 15-40.
Oh, so it's
but,
actually 4, I think, because it was 2 deciding points. Yeah. So it's actually 4 even, not 3. Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean, but it happens in doubles quite a lot of the time, so I'm like more or less used to it. That you've got, free breakpoints from 15-40.
Oh, that's another one.
Yeah.
Returns lands right at Michelsen's feet, and Michelsen is just not really getting out of the way quick enough.
Other than the
He's
Euro
a little
power
bit slow to
and
react, I would say there. I mean,
yeah. Hamad is thrown out of the court so much, right? I mean,
yeah.
You should be.
He should be anticipating
ready.
this one by now, I think.
Yeah. I wanted to say that Hamad is even outside the doubles alley, but we don't have the doubles alley here.
That's a poor miss on the forehand.
Another deep return down the middle, by the way. I mean, this one didn't give him too much of an advantage. I think both players were like unsure if it's even going to land in, but still, like that's how he's been returning and at least giving himself the chance in the points. So, third consecutive game and actually even fourth consecutive game, I guess, where Michelsen has to save a breakpoint. Or no, it was the third game of the first set that he had broken, but all the games in this set anyway. So 3 breakpoints, Hamad Medjedovic for a potential tool of lead as well, virtually. Oh, okay. Gonna clean that up, and he did
that was a lot better.
Efficiently. Yep. 2 more coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Medjedovic with just 5 points lost on serve so far, so it's really Michelsen's delivery that is getting pressured all the time. Again, Medjedovic is in the point.
Oh, and Michelsen decides to come forward again, just redirects it down the line, doesn't go for too much. It has to hit 2 volleys there, actually.
Yeah. I imagine he was probably a bit scared. Yeah, when he hit that first one, and then Hamad can still slam the forehand, but decent reaction there.
Yeah. Medjedovic. Frustrated though that he didn't turn that point around. But it probably is these chances now. Let's see if he can. Oh wow, that forced him to spell a lot.
Yeah, he has chosen the outside again.
Yeah.
Second.
Another really deep return that forces the error. Wow,
Yep.
so the theme continues. This time is off the backhand. Wow.
Yeah, it's Medjedovic slamming his serve and forehand, and then the deep returns at Michelsen's feet. And yeah, I wonder if it's actually like a strategy or of sorts or not. You know, it's possible that they were watching some some Michelsen footage, and they sort of noticed that he's kind of heavy-footed. Yeah. But at the same time, it's also a pretty natural thing for Medjedovic, I guess, to do. I mean, you're trying to hit with as much power as possible with your return, but at the same time, like not risk all that much. So you're going down the middle, but still, it's working like a charm so far. And yeah, it's a large reason of why he might be 2 sets to love up in a second, along with the fact that his service games are a breeze, literally every single time. I guess we've only had 5 of them so far, but I mean, he's losing 1 point a game.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I guess this is like a tactic from able to study your opponents and just game plan for.
Yeah.
I mean, like also like when he was playing against Gibson in the Challenger final, or what was it in Charlottesville? Yeah, I mean, he looked a bit. He looked like sort of all the matches that he'd played up until that point were.
Oh, definitely
having an effect. I mean, he was dead. He just looked completely like he didn't have his legs. I don't think because
I wouldn't look at that final. Yeah.
I was watching that and thinking like, wow, like that was that was a totally depleted version of him. So
yeah. I wouldn't look at that final as any indicator of anything because I think he was just dead physically. Even in the semis against Druge, he was like barely hanging on and survived it. But yeah, it did feel like a bit of a Pyrrhic victory. Of course, it wasn't actually Pyrrhic because it got him the USTA wildcard. Well, he will not need it probably. But yeah, I wouldn't look at that Gibson final. I think it was just one of these where one player is fresh and the other is just done. Enters the court, he knows he's done. Everyone around the court knows he's done. Gibson has a lot of time to like just blast the forehand. Even, it's a decent shot generally, but like the way he was hitting it in the final, he was just completely dominating the match with it. But I also think, a large part of that was just Michelsen being out of it physically and allowing him that opportunity.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to need Medjedovic's. I mean, Michelsen would have to need Medjedovic's serving to just drip a little bit because right now it's pretty hot. It fires another ace down the tee. I mean, the rhythm he has on the serve right now is just not allowing Michelsen to get. That was a nice longer
best rally of the
exchange.
match so far probably. And
yeah, by far I think
the
honestly,
angles that
like
Michelsen employed here, right? The cross-court backhand here really wide basically limits the options for Medjedovic to down the line. He is very quick to cover it because he knows what Hamad will play, and then he just goes cross-court into the open space. Nardi, I think earlier today won an important point against Fils in a similar manner. Their Fils actually missed the backhand down the line, but like with a sharp angle, he also like totally limited Archer's options. Like you literally knew that Fils was going to have to go down the line through the high net. This time Medjedovic makes it, but yeah, good anticipation as well from Michelsen to just be there already. And the double fault, 2 breakpoints. Alex Michelsen, first time this match, and definitely out of nowhere.
Yeah. Of course, he had 25 seconds after that point, but it was one of the probably the most physical point we've had so far.
Yeah. And it's nice that we finally have, of course, not with this double fault, but like the previous rally, Michelsen sort of showed, the people in Jeddah, the people watching, what he's all about, because the first few games didn't really show anything. Well, Medjedovic comes up with a great point here. Big serve, big +1 forehand, but also this actually required a nice first volley from him, and he delivered.
Yeah. Yeah, good hands there.
Below the net, not really close to the net as well. So
yeah, stuff. I mean, he was behind the service box, so
yeah, that makes the volley so tough here.
Oh, and what an angle on the pass from Michelsen.
Yep. So this was the game when Alex Michelsen shows the world. Yeah. Okay, guys, don't write me off. I can play.
Yeah. Just have to be able to neutralize the first couple shots, and then I can.
The block return was really good. I mean, it put Hamad in a weird position where like he's approaching with his backhand, not something he's going to be super comfortable with. And then of course also you gotta take the chance.
That was a good approach against many players that would have been enough to kind of close the net, at least on the next point, even if you have to hit another volley. But yeah, clean winner. Oh wow. It all behind him, because now he just crushes another return, and it's a winner cross court.
Yep.
So he has the mini break. But of course, we saw Shiba. God, I always mispronounce this guy's name.
It's rough. I mean, I see Shelby, but it's more or less how he says it. More or
we saw
less
Shelby go up a mini break.
Yeah, but this is the one out of the NextGen finals field that's definitely tough. All of the other guys you can probably guess. I mean, I actually started saying Michelsen when I found out about Alex, but I guess you can't really know. Like in English, a lot of the time you're not gonna know how the surname is pronounced. It's just a guessing game, really. And all the other guys I suppose, are pretty simple.
Oh wow! What a shot though from Michelsen here to get back. Look at this. The redrop on the forehand.
Yeah. Right behind that Fly Emirates or whatever it is banner, which actually didn't even allow me to see where the ball bounced.
Yeah.
But now on the replay, I will be able to see it clearly. It is Fly Emirates indeed. Yeah. Actually, even inside the court, not outside of it. So.
I like this sort of visual that I'm getting, of course, without the doubles. Of course, that's not anything new. We've had it at all the NextGen finals so far, but
we appreciate it, German. I mean, we're not looking at the chat like all of the time. I only have one screen, so I'm it's unlikely that you're gonna spoil anything, but if you have the option to wait like 15 seconds, that's cool. Thank you.
Oh, and this time it's
yeah, that's a great point. Yeah.
With the pass.
Medjedovic finds himself in this point with just a couple of situational shots.
Yep.
Not as great as the backhand pass of Michelsen, but it also didn't need to be. But finally, we have a match, and I think that's amazing. That wasn't an ace.
Yeah. Still quite a lot of work to do here, though.
My vision has been terrible today.
That's cost the double fault.
I don't think that's a double fault. That's a let. Yeah. Oh, are you already there?
Oh, okay, am I ahead of you?
Ah, yeah, you're already there. Okay, so you're that ahead of me. Okay, never mind. I thought that you were like 10 seconds, maybe. Seems like you're like more like 15. But no, it's no problem, obviously.
Yeah,
I think if
I
I take out
can.
my no, because I think if I take out my other stream, it's going to be like, then 15 seconds ahead of you. So
Yeah.
just go
The
with
funny
it.
thing, I'm watching this on two stream just because I was curious to see who the tennis channel commentator is, and I found out it was Chris Eubanks.
Oh.
And then I see that
Makes
this is
sense.
but the tennis channel stream is even further ahead than what I have right now on Tennis TV.
The
that would be in a
commentator
minute.
on my Polish TV network today, I mean, that was horrible. I mean, you could so clearly see that he has no clue who these guys are really, and suddenly he started talking about Abdullah Shelbayh, and he said that in all the previous editions you had an Italian wildcard, which, well, for one thing, it's actually untrue. I mean, 2021 and 2022 there were no wildcards, but also he says that Abdullah Shelbayh. So of course this year we have the Saudi Arabian wildcard. It's actually kind of curious that he was born in Amman in Jordan. Well, well, maybe because he's Jordanian, you dumb.
Because he's not from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, maybe that's the reason, but I guess the guy just thought he's Saudi Arabian. I guess he has never seen Shelbayh play, which I guess is fine if you're like a casual observer, that's absolutely okay. But yeah, it just pains me that, people like that don't even do the research and don't bother. Great ace from Hamad Medjedovic. What a reaction as well. He's like fist pumping, 5-2 up, so that one point didn't derail him all that much. He still has a mini break lead, and the pressure is on Michelsen to try to get it back to 4-5. Chris Eubanks, I'm sure, would be a better commentator.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's probably at least trained, practiced, watched, etc. All these guys play. So
Michelsen probably, well, definitely. I think he's even played him, right?
Yeah, he knows Michelsen really well.
Medjedovic, yeah. I mean, I don't know, but still.
It was just it's such a natural at this commentating thing that he's can sort of even make up for maybe some, he might not know all the results, but he can give a really good insight of it just being on tour.
He makes up for some like minor liabilities with other stuff. Really minor, I have to say that. Great couple of backhands from Medjedovic as well down the line, and then finishes it off cross court with the short ball. Looks like Michelsen has found an ace to keep it at 3-6, but still two service points now for Medjedovic. This was also an interesting one because I think Medjedovic started as the bookie's favorite, then it actually swapped to Michelsen. I guess everyone is struggling to rate Michelsen for now, right?
Yeah.
And it was a bit of a it was a little sort of counterintuitive as well, because Michelsen was like the favorite along with Van Asch to win the group, but then Medjedovic was actually the favorite to win against Michelsen. I was surprised by that, but of course later, with the way the market shifted, it got amended. Anyway, Medjedovic leads to love now. So a brief sort of moment of joy for Michelsen, really a good glimmer of hope and a couple of solid minutes where he finally showed what he's made of, but still it's Medjedovic leading.
Yeah, John is asking which of the 8 do you think is the most likely to win a slam?
Oh, that's a good one.
Probably Feast.
Yeah, I think I said yesterday that like if I'm looking at guys who I think could be constant present, who like could have a constant presence in, let's say, the top 25, for example, then I'm looking at Fils and Medjedovic mostly, because I think Stricker has the talent, and I just don't know if he's gonna like be able to bring it consistently ever. And Fils and Medjedovic, I think, are the one who could like just be very solid at the top 4 years. I don't know how high. I would agree that Fils is probably more likely to win a slam, than Medjedovic, but I think Hamad is up there among these 8. It's like the player who shouldn't really fall below a certain level once he gets there. To me, is there anyone else really that's like maybe younger? And Vanash winning a slam, that doesn't sound real. Michelsen,
that seems really hard to imagine for now. Yeah.
Shellbike.
I
Yeah,
think he
again, I
has the
would have to say
weapons to
Fils
win
and then
the next.
Medjedovic, I suppose. Miles actually said that on the last stream that Striker is gonna win a slam in 7 years. He made this bold prediction. I like it. It's not like he doesn't have the ability
He
to
could
do
be one of
so.
those guys that are like late bloomers, that are
Yeah,
that just age and maybe more consistent in the big events with age. Obviously, the biggest example of that would be like a Wawrinka, and I just use that because they're from the same country.
and
And
Miles did the same. Like he literally based this
Yeah.
on a Wawrinka example, which I actually
I
learned
think
a
I'm
bit
on the
from.
record saying this about Shapovalov because I'm like he has so many tools. I'm like he
Yeah.
has to, they're it's
Yeah.
and I'm like I don't see it happening right now, but maybe
No, I
maybe
mean,
before
there
he
was a
started
point when
or
everyone thought that it was going to happen. I remember, when Shapovalov broke out, let's say in Montreal against Nadal. I remember thinking, back then as a hardcore Federer fan, I remember thinking, okay, so when Federer retires, I'm gonna be a fan of this guy. One-hander, very explosive, very fun, right?
Oh, yeah,
But then some of the fun kind of got lost along the way, honestly. And I'm like right now, Denis Shapovalov is just yet another tennis player to me. Of course, an exciting one at his best, but it's like 10% of his matches or even less. And
Yeah.
I didn't develop the fondness that I thought I was gonna develop for Shapovalov. I probably honestly
Same.
the most that I've been excited by him was actually still that Montreal run. The comeback
Yeah, I
against
know,
Dutra
and that kind of
Silva.
says everything, right? Because that kind of
Yeah.
says it all, really. That's the most.
The Manarino hot shot, the comeback against Dutra Silva, the win over Nadal, of course, just
I
ridiculous.
must admit, I got a little excited again at the end of 2019 when he, I don't know, just
Stockholm?
like that
Is that the-
stretch. Yeah,
that the year?
the Stockholm and then Paris. Even though he didn't have to play
Yeah,
Nadal, he
Paris
still made the final. Davis Cup, he played well there. So I was like, okay, maybe he can carry this to the next season. And then I was like, okay, 2020, kind of a little, semifinal in Rome, which he absolutely should have won that match against Schwartzman, but didn't. But then, well, it just turned out to be a lot like a lot of his other losses, really. But
had a good stat on my
And then-
screen just now about Medjedovic's depth on return, and 51% in the sort of fared zone on the court. I guess I don't know how you go to call it, but you know what I mean. And 33% middle and
zone C.
16% short. Yeah, you can call it that. There's actually a the word placement is misspelled on that on that screenshot that I just made, but well, I can't be held responsible for it. Maybe I'll make a joke or something like that because I actually posted on Twitter since, well, it is a very relevant stat.
Yeah, Medjedovic reminds me of this one kid that I played in juniors, who just sort of, like when he would just get hot and he would just surplus one year to crazy, just get on a roll with a surplus one, and like the way he hits his backhand, which is like just very close to his body and just very like hard to read.
Right. I guess it's a toilet break. That's something we cannot really avoid, even in the fast four action-packed next-gen format. Already, this is a different stream than earlier today when we were doing Fils and Nardi, because then I felt like there's no breaks. Like literally, the players are constantly on court, and I actually had to pee, and I had no time to do it. They were just constantly in action. Something was happening all the time. I didn't pee myself. I did call it a bathroom break. I asked Mario if I can go, and he said yes, thankfully. I did also make it just before the next point was played, so I was back there in time. Right now I don't have to pee, although I imagine if they go on for like 1 or 2 more sets, I might. But yeah, 7.5 minutes since the last point, actually.
Sorry, and I'm just thinking about Mario would be if Mario was like, "No, you cannot go pee."
No, actually, I actually didn't even ask him. I just said, Mario, answer the question about paddle in Italy, because there was a question about that on the screen, and I'm gonna take a bathroom break. Yeah, Umpire Mario.
Yeah. You must not pee during a Luca Nardi match.
Yeah, I feel like I really haven't watched all that much Challenger tennis today. So that's a bit of a shame, but I guess it's the next gen finals, I can make an exception.
Yeah, this is like
it's a Challenger event of sorts.
Yeah.
On the most recent Challenger podcast, I actually talked about this one, like the groups, and also I think mentioned it in the next episode, like review the event. Just because, well, it's going to be a shorter one anyway, because it's just the review of the last 4 events plus that. But also I've been doing that about the Grand Slam qualifying. I just treat these 5 events as challengers as well, because it's literally players, who for the most part have been playing challengers this year, other than Fils, I guess. But even Fils, as a player, I think I've covered on the show a billion times when he was still getting to that level. And at the beginning of the year, of course, he won his first title, then appeared, I guess, a couple more times. Recently, I was just stuck thinking about Fils' beginning of the season, and how wild it was that maybe in like February, at the end of February, no, maybe it was even March, when he lost to Kaichi Uchida in the first round of a challenger, for example. Just crazy to think about that. And 3 months later, he wins his first ATP title.
But of course, he did also make a run in Montpellier.
Yeah, back-to-back ATP 250s, actually, semifinals. Yeah.
Yeah. Marseille.
That was the Pau Challenger was later. Yeah, the Pau Challenger was later than that. Yeah, Montpellier and Marseille. Yeah, and he didn't play between a tournament between these two. I saw a photo on my Twitter feed, and it said, "Mutual respect and admiration, Naomi and Lewis." And then I saw Lewis Hamilton, and I'm like, "Is it going to be Naomi Osaka?" But no, it's Naomi Campbell. Less exciting for a tennis fan.
Yeah, By the way, I saw this Punta de Break article today about Alcaraz's
Mahach?
off season.
Oh no, I
Oh,
thought
yeah,
about
no,
Mahach.
I saw the Mahach one as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were both
If
tagged
you
in
guys
that.
want to read an interview with Thomas Mahach from one of, well, I don't want to say Talking Tennis contributors, but he's appeared a few times already. You know, maybe he's going to appear a couple more times as well. Carlos Navarro, definitely check it out on his Twitter. He posted that for Punto de Break. Of course, it's in Spanish, but you can easily translate it, you know, and to with Google,
Yeah.
and you should get some nice stuff from that. I actually haven't read it yet, but I will. And
I haven't read it
it's
either,
a
but I
good-
assume that it's going to be really good. Yeah.
yeah, it's a Carlos Navarro article. I've read a few of his. Well, not even a few. I've read some. I've definitely read a lot of his work. So I know it's going to be a good one, and I also know, you know, it's Thomas Mahach. He's also going to be good in this. So it's a good partnership for them. Navarro Mahach, the next power couple of professional
Okay.
interviewee and
Yeah.
journalist
I
relationships.
was
Anyway,
looking
what
at
the fuck?
Carlos's Twitter the other day, and I was pleasantly very surprised. Because Novak Djokovic actually follows him.
What?
Yeah. Crazy, right?
Carlos Alcaraz or
No, Carlos Navarro.
really?
Yeah.
How is that a thing? Why isn't he talking about this all the time?
Right, it's not brought up more.
Yeah, I mean he should have it in his bio or whatever.
Yeah.
What the
That's
hell?
huge, right? Yeah.
Novak Djokovic.
Yeah. I had to do a double check. I was like, maybe this is one of those, maybe
Yeah.
it's not the real guy, but I looked at it, it was. So
You think you're cool when you're followed by, like, I don't know, Kovacevic or Bergs or some people like that, and then Novak Djokovic follows Carlos Navarro.
yeah, apparently Novak has followed him for
Yeah, he should be talking about it more. Next time I'm talking to Carlos, I'm gonna tell him that he should just be. Well, actually, you know, sometimes it happens that you have a good tweet and then people sort of follow you. Like there's a whole bunch of new followers. So
Yeah.
what if, Vansh, what if we just haven't noticed and Novak Djokovic actually follows us too?
No, I would have noticed. I would have seen it.
Yeah, Novak Djokovic does not follow me. What a shame. What a shame.
Yeah. Novak, if you're listening, follow us.
Yeah, Novak, I mean, go ahead, mate. I mean, don't you want to just read some about the challengers? No, definitely no. I mean, you actually try to support them. He also follows James Gray. You know him?
Yeah, I saw that the other day. Yeah, he does.
Huh.
Yeah, James Gray also
not-
has another podcast. He has the Unfiltered Tennis podcast
Yeah,
with it's George Belchaw and this other coach, Calvin Benton.
yeah. I'm not gonna go through the whole list, of course, but yeah, that's pretty wild.
I don't know if it's
Yeah,
him
you
who's actually running
Yeah,
his own
no clue either.
his
Could be him.
agent or whatever.
Could
So
be-
in that
yeah.
case, I don't know.
Could be him, could be just some random person behind it.
Maybe he just really liked a piece that Carlos did about him and Punta de Break, and then was like, "Okay, this guy's good."
Yeah, I mean that's actually possible.
I mean, he
Could have
does
been
also have a
it could
brother
have
who
been
lives
a
in
tweet.
Spain. Marco Djokovic lives in Spain, right?
Marco
So,
Djokovic.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it could have been a tweet, you know. Yeah, but it's possible that it was some
we're,
sort of
just,
Djokovic content.
we're just speculating now about all this, but yeah. It's,
Anders Limpar. Yeah, I don't know that guy. That's not too impressive, honestly, John. And it's not a United player even,
Don't
so.
even spend on it. Oh, that's good.
If you were followed by, like, I don't know, Wes Brown, or I don't know if he even
Who's
has
the
a
most
Twitter
famous
account.
player that follows me? I think the most famous name I probably have is like Lindsay Davenport.
Okay, yeah, but like retired, you've got like Tracy Austin, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Who's more famous, Tracy Austin or Lindsay Davenport? No clue. I don't know if Lindsay Davenport follows me. I'm not sure, but Tracy Austin definitely does. But like from current players, if you were to say.
Oh. Maybe Darius Savio.
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Oh, and Ellen Perez, of course.
Okay, yeah. I think I tweet way too little about the WTA for any woman to follow me. Actually, I don't know if there's a women's tennis player that I
Yeah.
can think of that follows me. Male, yeah, sure, but women's probably not really. But anyway, that's not the topic of today's stream. Although, yeah, Novak Djokovic, Carlos Navarro, that's a connection that I didn't know existed. But let's get into Alex Michelsen, who's actually in a bit of trouble here. I mean, not in a bit of trouble yet, but like every single service game he has now is kind of crunch time and could potentially lead to him losing the match, especially if he keeps hitting his backhand like this.
Yeah.
Someone in my Twitter comments is asking, why isn't Medjedovic's ranking closer to 50 at the moment? Well, I think, let's sort of slow down. I mean, he still got from 257 to 102 this year in his peak, so. So, but yeah, I think he'll be there. He'll be there.
Do you see Michelsen as someone who could be top 50 in the next couple of years or next year?
Next couple of years, yeah. Next year, I don't think he's gonna make the impact of Ben Shelton. I wonder, if after Newport,
Well, yeah, I don't.
Yeah, he's not gonna have a bit of a drop off. I mean, even Chicago Newport, right? That was a whole double that he almost pulled off. So I can't remember if Chicago was a 75 or 100. I think it was a 75. So you've got 225 points there dropping for him in 2 weeks, essentially. There is still some potential to rise, definitely the beginning of the season. I think in February he had a challenger final in Rome, Georgia, or in Waco.
Yeah.
One of these two anyway. No, I think Rome, Georgia. Waco was Miller against someone, Miller Goyo maybe. But yeah, I think getting to a ranking like Shelton, even let's say the 40-ish ranking, which Shelton got to after the Australian Open, that's going to be pretty hard. But yeah, next few years, I mean, why not? And he ends up holding, so.
Oh, really? I mean,
not much.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
Tomasz Kuszczak, yeah. If Tomasz Kuszczak followed you, that would be amazing. I don't think Tomasz Kuszczak will be on Twitter, but maybe. And he would actually be like, fluent enough in English to watch our shows.
Yeah. Doesn't Craig O'Shaughnessy follow Talking Tennis? If Craig O'Shaughnessy follows Talking Tennis, then that'd probably be him. I think Damien is frozen again.
Am I?
Oh, no, you're back.
Not that I know of. Yeah, a bit of a net cord there for Medjedovic. He wins the point as well. What was I supposed to check? Actually, I got sidetracked. Oh, someone else had a comment about Medjedovic Michelsen here on my Twitter, and so he said, "This like a guy whose parents bought him into a tournament versus a ringer." Can you explain this comment to me? I think it's like some American sports terminology that I don't understand it.
Versus a what? A
A
ringer?
ringer. A ringer, yeah. Who's a ringer, basically?
Oh, okay. A ringer is like, I think it is like a basketball term, maybe.
Vansh, you've been living in the United States for like 20 years. How can you not know that?
I don't actually like. I actually like don't know. I don't really use that term.
Horrible.
Yeah, I probably should know it, but yeah.
What? I mean, let's maybe try Urban Dictionary, because the definitions that I found: a person who you barely know that you bring sent to a party to make things interesting. Maybe I'll type in sports. Oh, ringer sports definition. Yes. A person or horse that takes part in a competition illegally or unfairly. For example, by someone pretending that they are another person or horse. So I don't understand this question. This like a guy whose parents bought him into a tournament versus a ringer. So basically, is the guy just saying that they're both trash, or what are we talking about? I thought it was going to be a comment like Michelsen is, yeah, just not at Medjedovic's level, but yeah, I don't understand. Sorry, Patrick Dildon, if you're listening to the stream, I don't understand that. Anyway, yeah, Michelsen has a deciding point here.
Wait, who did he say was the ringer? Who did he say was the ringer?
I don't know. He didn't specify it.
Because that would like no.
Yeah, he didn't specify it, and he sort of said they're both ringers in a way. I don't know. Maybe he screwed something up in that tweet. Oh, there's an ace from Medjedovic to save that deciding point. I think Michelsen also like tried to guess, sort of. Like he just went so far wide, right?
Yeah. He was like nowhere near trying to.
He leaped a little too early, which was kind of surprising. I guess Medjedovic's better serve to that side is also T probably than wide, but maybe in general his better serve is T than wide. I don't know. That was a little weird. But anyway, because of that, he now puts himself in this position where he'll have to serve to stay in the match. And maybe we'll get that first straight set clash today, and of the whole event as well. Is there any, by the way, is there any date in terms of like the, let's say the license for Jeddah? Like how long will they be organizing the next gen finals? Do we have that sort of knowledge or not? Oh yeah, okay. I just found it.
5-year contract.
Yeah, to 2027. Yeah, 2027.
Okay, so
yeah. All right, another backhand, pretty sloppy from Michelsen as well with the feet here. I guess we have the battle of two players who are like regularly, looking quite slow, and I guess at different parts of their careers, that was like the biggest issue they had. Also, well, mostly with
Yeah,
Medjedovic, I guess.
a bit heavy-handed, especially when you hit balls really deep. And they sort of have to use their footwork to get out of the way and just give themselves enough space. Actually, it's not that dissimilar to like you watch Medjedovic, you watch Botic play sometimes, Sometimes Botic
Yeah.
can have that issue too.
Oh wow! I mean that forehand though from Medjedovic, that's just
And of course,
absolutely
also like
brutal.
kind of similar build, I guess, as well. And
Yeah, sure. Botig is also like actually really fast, but sometimes he can just,
yeah,
I don't know, just struggle to get things going in terms of the footwork and mess a lot of it up. But this forehand from Medjedovic was pretty special, and the power he generated while being on the back foot, really, while falling behind. But he can't find the next yet another deep forehand return down the middle. So Michelsen will have a point to get it to a tie break.
I haven't even reached the tiebreak yet.
Huh?
Okay, cool. Are you at a tiebreak?
Yeah, they're gonna start. Like Medjedovic just dropped off his towel. Sorry, Medjedovic Michelsen. He's going to the line. That's where I'm at the moment.
You wow, okay. Then you're actually a teeny bit ahead. I'm gonna actually.
What happens then? What changed?
I think my stream just started buffering a little bit.
Yeah, Medjedovic with a bit of a wild +1 backhand here, so Michelsen will start this tiebreak with a mini break. I lost his balance there. I guess this is an example of what you were talking about, of like him playing the shot very close to the body, and yeah, this time he didn't get the contact point quite right. We'll have the time to make up for it, I guess, since he's in the rally. Ooh, now it's my stream, which gave me some weird sensations. I actually did not see that point.
It was Medjedovic with the forehand down the line, set up by a big backhand down the line too, and then
So I saw the backhand down the line, but that was the last shot that I saw.
Michelsen hits it cross, and then Medjedovic hits it down the line winner. His forehand
goes for a dropper, but it's not going to be in.
Yeah,
but this is also a thing that he's been trying to like add to his game, like definitely on purpose, definitely by design, and I think he's actually had some decent success with it this year. Well, not on this occasion, obviously.
He does really push players back behind the baseline quite often.
Yeah. So then you have space for it, and actually he really needs this shot in his arsenal as well. Recently, when he had that match in Danderit against Menchik, I mean, of course he had 3 match points, which means he was close to a win, needless to say. But I think the main problem throughout, really, well, not actually throughout, but since Menchik stopped having physical issues after like set 1, well, maybe the first set and a half, from that point onwards, the main problem was just that Medjedovic was slamming the forehand cross-court, like literally slamming it, and it was just all coming back, and he had no idea how to break out of it, like how to actually finish off the point. And yeah, of course, that's one of the ways you can do that.
Although, look at this shot.
Yep.
From Wilson to get the break. And now, actually, it's Medjedovic set. He's 0 for 5.
Yeah, and that's not going to help. as he tries to serve and volley out of
Mm.
nowhere, like absolutely out of
Yeah.
nowhere. Michelsen
That
is
was very
there to
desperate.
just like, yeah. I like how Michelsen seems like he just took it very, calmly.
Yeah.
He knew that he has a lot of time to hit this return, so he found a good enough angle where Medjedovic can't get to it. Very weird choice for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And now that's a big serve as well. So Alex Michelsen in prime position to take us to the fourth set. By the way, what's your sort of take so far on the conditions in Jeddah? Are they much slower than Milan?
I don't think they're. Actually, they're like the court is like pretty medium fast, right? Like medium to fast. It's definitely not slow because the ball is like really penetrating, and it's staying low, and it's you're not being rewarded for good serves, especially spot serves. I'm trying to remember how Milan played last year. I want to say
I think
wasn't
Milan
that
was always
slow.
pretty fast, right?
Yeah, it felt quickish to me always, right?
Yeah, I think all the
I
additions were
don't think
really
it was ever
fast.
I don't think NextGen finals was ever slow.
Yeah, this is the first year when we switched to Jeddah, so that's why it's only really
Yeah.
a point of comparison. I think it is slower. Then again, for most players in the field, it's not gonna bother them all that
I mean,
much.
it's nothing like ATP finals or Davis Cup finals. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Those were both fast.
But like, no player in the field actually will struggle because of it. Even if you have
Yeah.
some super aggressive guys like Medjedovic, Striker, they have the power to hit through any conditions, really. And
Mhm.
we're seeing that with Medjedovic here. Like, the guy could hit a winner on sandpaper in Indian Wells for sure. So,
Yeah.
but he can't hit this backhand. So, 4 set points, Michelsen.
Mm.
I guess this is maybe, some of that Medjedovic raw mental edge so far. Also, when things don't stop going that well, he might start to crumble a little bit. But of course, dropping 1 set in a best of 5 set match is not the end of the world. He might still save the 4 set points, maybe. He does save 1 at least. But yeah, like some of these guys, even here, I think it will really just help them compete with the others, like Vanash, Shelby, Koboli.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think for the
It seemed
event,
to help
it's
Panache. I
actually
mean,
pretty
Panache was even
encouraging.
hitting aces in some big points.
Huh.
He was hitting some aces, getting some free points. It was helping his backhand, which doesn't need as much help, but it was really
Just
to
out on
report.
the backhand return. So Alex Michelsen, he takes a set. He is still 1 set to 2 down, but he is at least in the match, and we still haven't seen a straight set affair at the Next Gen finals this year. I have to say that. What did you mention? I just wanted to say that in Koboli Striker there was a funny stat, because there was a point when Striker had like 60% unreturned serves and Koboli had
Yeah.
15%. And
15. Wow.
yes, 15% unreturned serves. And you could see that, but Striker would just lose every single deciding point. Like literally the
Yeah.
moment it got to the deciding point, he would lose it. And even in the opening set, I think Koboli saved 2 deciding points, and then Striker gets to 1 on his serve and he loses it. And he also had a terrible smash at 40-30 in that game. So yeah, even though he was pretty well, I guess he wasn't fully fit, let's just call it that. He wasn't chasing down after every ball that sort of had him lunging, in either direction. But he still had real chances to lead 2 sets to love there. But yeah, he just wouldn't take the break points, and then sort of the game was still on Koboli's serve. He did play pretty well, but I wonder how that sort of bodes for him going forward. I guess the matchup that theoretically he should be struggling most with has already been eliminated. In Striker, I mean in the group at least. So, well, eliminated, not eliminated from the group, from the tournament yet, but eliminated from his sort of point of view. But yeah, Koboli not looking like an outsider so far. Nardi definitely not as well, due to the win. Well, due to the 5 set loss, sorry. And yeah, only Shellbike, I guess, maybe slightly. But yeah, we'll see how he handles Michelsen and Medjedovic.
Yeah. I think even if Shobai does go 0-3 at least, I don't think he'll. My prediction is he won't lose a match. Well, actually, yeah, I don't know. He won't lose a match in straights.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think if it looks like today, that's fine. Like, that's absolutely fine. He's probably along with Koboli, of course, has already fulfilled that. Like, he was the only guy who, even if they went out 0-3 here, but they were competitive in their matches, they would be like okay with it, I suppose.
Yeah.
All the others were not Nardi, given that he had Striker and Fields in the groups, I think he would be okay with like a 1-2 exit or something. All the other guys are like probably considering themselves pretty strong favorites. Like, just guys who can win the whole thing, let's say that. So they would be very disappointed not to make it to the semis. Of course, Striker dominated the group stage last year. Doesn't seem like it will happen this time. Yeah. Yeah, Medjedovic is like in full self-destruction mode now. Setting himself up for a great forehand winner, but yeah, that forehand winner is like 2 meters out. Yeah, it's 2 meters out the court. And that's an ace from Michelsen to get to one love. I guess the fact that both their names start with M has been sort of messing me up a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Can't count the amount of times that I've said Michelsen instead of Medjedovic today, or the other way around. So I guess on every single day, by the way, it's going to be the first group playing first, because like otherwise how are you going to do it? Which is pretty weird, but well, I guess in this format that's how it has to work.
Yep.
I might actually miss out on some of the next gen action tomorrow. I'll probably be back for the evening though.
The time zone makes it really hard for me to watch the first two matches. So
yeah, for me it's like quite ideal,
For me, it'll take like the I'll get to see more of this group than I will the.
Yeah. It would take a Djokovic Sinner in the first slot for you to wake up at 4 a.m.
Yeah, because 4 is like, I mean,
5
or 6 is like maybe more doable. 4 is
I woke up at 7 today for Watanuki Shimizu, but 4 a.m. I don't think I would be able to make it. Although I am actually consciously trying to.
We will catch the extended highlights because Tennis TV puts up like those longer extended highlights that are pretty good actually.
That's cool. Yeah, this week I'm like consciously trying to set up my body clock in a circadian rhythm or whatever in a bit of a different manner, because on the weekend I will have to wake up very early. Well, both because of the tennis, because there's the Japanese challenger, in the Yokkaichi finishing, but also because of something else. So maybe I would be actually, willing to wake up at 4 on Sunday, but yeah, not generally speaking, that's not my favorite time. That's the time when I go to bed. That's not the time when I get out of bed.
Yeah, that's like when I go to bed for when Australia is happening. So.
Yeah, with Australia, I mean, at midnight the play starts for me. So. Or
yeah,
when
for
you're
you.
and you're watching Mare Kokinakis, the play ends at 6 p.m.
Yeah. Or when the Paris Masters was going on while Cancun was happening, and it's like Paris Masters would finish later than Cancun.
Oh yeah.
And because we had almost 18-hour days. Which you can't really put 6 matches on one.
You can't. I mean, the Bercy
Makes it
organizers
really
just...
difficult.
No, I mean, I don't know if
Yeah,
you
that's
can't.
what I
mean, the
mean.
Bercy organizers just say you can, and yeah, and they can also grab some money along the way. You know, do the evening and afternoon session, or like not even afternoon. I mean, day session and evening session. Yeah, here we have more of an afternoon and evening, I suppose. So Jeddah would be like 11 hours from you?
But you know, Friday and Saturday, like that'll be ideal.
When do they start then?
Because I don't think they start until the night.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, for me it's just 2 hours difference. So, but yeah, they also start very late in Jeddah, right? I mean, the actual first match in the group stage starts at 3 p.m. Jeddah time. So,
yeah.
No, if it started like the more usual thing for tennis, then you would probably be able to catch some before you go to bed.
Before I go to bed, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then wake up for another match in Jeddah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that I live in Europe. I think it's still the best time zone for a tennis fan, actually.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
Australia is
Sometimes I
super
wish
tricky, but yeah.
I'm trying to see if in the next couple of years I can stay in the US but move to a better time zone. Like
Specifically for tennis? Specifically
East
for
Coast.
tennis?
I mean, no, not specifically for tennis. You know, I am hoping that something will. I would. It would be better for sure. It would probably not be better for playing tennis outdoors, but it would be better for watching tennis.
Yeah, I'm glad with Europe. Sometimes it's hard to watch in Australia, like 100%. It's pretty hard in, let's say, also Asia, right? Like that's also a nightmare to wake up at 4 a.m. for these Challenger finals. But I think most of the time, most of the year, we actually have a really good situation here. And the States, like the tournaments in the States, don't bother me either because, well, as I said, like 4 a.m. is where I usually want to go to bed. So that's also when the US tournaments more or less finish. So yeah, I think Europe is definitely still cool. Do you know this account on Twitter, Tennis in Aloha, the guy who lives in Hawaii?
Yep. Hawaii, yeah.
Yeah, Judson lives in Hawaii, and he basically like had real issues watching any tennis because the timing wouldn't work for anything. So he watched I know
because that's 3 hours behind me.
So much
and that's like
yeah. I know he watches a lot on replay simply because otherwise it's impossible for him.
Yeah.
2-1 Michelsen. Not much happening so far, but well, at least Medjedovic got that one game on the board to stop the bleeding because there was a moment when you could sort of look at him and think, okay, so maybe this is where the cookie.
My main issue is we need extended highlights where I can see all the big points. I think Tennis TV is starting to do a much better job of this now, but it's like I don't really care if it was a double fault on breakpoint. I need to see it, you know.
You gotta put it in, yeah. All the breakpoints that were converted 100%, sometimes even breakpoints that were saved are important if it's like a big moment.
Like, because like you can show me all the hot shots, but those don't really like swing the match.
They don't give you the story of the match.
Then if they don't tell me the story or swing the match, then I don't really need them. I mean, they're fun to watch, but I don't need them for the purpose of, yeah. Which, yeah, that's what the WTA highlights are like. It's just hot shots for 5 minutes, and you're just left like, good. Like a player could win the match 2-2, and you just see hot shots from the player who lost, and you're like,
Yeah,
that was
there's
a waste of
also
time.
the slam highlights, which sometimes are like 2 or 3 minutes. And I remember when
gosh.
Wimbledon started doing them automatically as well. Like the
Yeah.
AI would choose it.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it was,
highlights,
sometimes it was
yeah.
really hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, this year I actually figured out if you connect to South Asian VPN, then you can see like extended highlights on all the show courts. Because like, I mean, yeah, they use this 3-minute highlight, so just no good. I mean, Australia US Open still a lot better. At least US Open, they even put extended highlights of qualifying matches. So those are maybe the best. Australia has like
Qualifying
condensed
matches, yes, those are the best. Yes.
Yeah, and you can also see extended highlights. So that's the
cool.
That's
I actually didn't know that. Yeah. Medjedovic
but US Open qualies
net.
is a great thing because publicly. So, I mean, you can see like you can if you want to go to Fan Week, you can see all your favorite players practice, and you can also watch qualifying for free. I mean, that's so good. They also have that in Indian Wells. You can watch qualifying, and it's the tickets are like
Yeah. I think it's pretty common to like have the first day, or the first 2 days of the qualifying with that sort of system to be like free or almost for free. Sort of give the people, especially as it's on the weekend, right? Give the people some incentive to then get back to the event later in the week and actually pay loads of money then. But by then you're already like, wow, live tennis, so good, I gotta go again. Yeah, I'm glad that Michelsen is at least, now has a set. He, if he lost this in free in that first set tiebreak, he would have these 2 nice games basically, or like maybe let's say a nice 8 or so points at the end of the second, but that would be really more or less it.
Yeah.
Whereas right now he's just, straight up competing just as well as Medjedovic. You can't tell what's going to happen next. There's the serve issues, or like maybe more so the issues with holding serve that he used to have. There's no sign of them anymore. And they're just going toe to toe.
Yeah.
Although on this
like
point,
get a tiebreak here.
Yeah. On this point, actually, Medjedovic kind of makes him look slow though with this backhand down the line. Alex barely gets to it and then doesn't even move for the next ball. Trading deep down the middle again from Medjedovic at first, but this time Michelsen actually survives in the rally, and eventually it's him who sort of just takes over after a deeper shot down the middle, and then he gets a shorter ball opportunity to attack.
Yeah.
Very, very.
And it was again, it's the deep shots that set up the.
Yeah. That set up the short balls, that set up the attacks. Very similar pace, I feel like, throughout the rally. Like every single shot was played like 5 to 10 meters difference of each other. From both players, actually.
Yeah.
Even the winner from Michelsen felt like that. That's a stunning serve as well to get the game. Really good. Let's just
Michelsen, of
not
course,
focus on
Michelsen
that.
probably gets a little bit flatter and harder than some players, and then he also like just. Whereas, yeah, I mean, this guy I think has more pace on. So, or he takes more. Medjedovic hits with a little more shape. But it kind of depends because both can look kind of, slow and depending on the incoming ball. That seems to be the biggest challenge.
Yeah, used to be a massive issue with Medjedovic. Right now, I guess it's kind of getting better. That's why for a while he was only able to do well on clay because he needed that extra time to set up. He needed that extra time to unleash the power. Whereas, of course, this year with a huge serve, he even qualified for Wimbledon. Now he's gonna have to clinch the next game to get to a tiebreaker. Yeah, I would love to see this one in Yokkaichi tomorrow at 2:30 a.m. But yeah, that's not gonna happen. Rei Sakamoto playing against Coleman Wong, so a couple of really good juniors. Sakamoto has just defeated Rodionov today, which was quite huge for the 17-year-old. And Wong, yeah, Wong recently back-to-back challenger finals. He won 2 doubles titles, I think, in slams. One with Kuzuhara, one with Max Westphal, I think so. That's a good one, but yeah, 2:30 a.m. Given that I have to sort of reset my my sleep schedule, not great. There's some talk between Michelsen and the Empire, which I don't know what it is about, but
not impressed by the quality of play. Did we say that? I mean, it's been fairly good, right? Hasn't been poor.
I don't think we've said that. No, not really. Fils Nardi, I think at first, Fils was just really lethargic and looked disengaged, but when he actually got there, like he only really had a couple of really poor games, first set and fourth set, and that's how he lost 2 sets. But like Nardi was up there with a decent level all the time. In the best moments, Fils was definitely like still better when he found his forehand range. But the match, the quality increased massively, I think, in sets 3, 4, and 5. Striker Kobori, I think, had a lot of exceptional shot making. It's just a shame that Dominic wasn't able to like compete physically in the third and fourth. Shelbike Van Asch, I think, for what it could have been, it was also really entertaining. And this one, I think, since Michelsen, managed to get back on track and sort of just actually show what he's capable of. That last game before the tiebreak of the second set. Since then, I think from both sides,
since he broke back and played 2 really awesome points and then like really kind of ignited. Since then, it's been fairly even, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. It seemed like maybe Medjedovic will continue anyway after the second set tiebreak, but no, right now it's just fair and square, 50-50, and the next tiebreak just feels like a total mystery to us. Coin flip, but I think the quality has been very okay. I was maybe a little disappointed with Fils Nardi at first because the first 2 sets just were pretty awful, and I think we actually said with Mario that it wasn't a good match because back until Fils gets into the let's say after Fils wins the second set, that's when the highlight reel and also just the general quality of the match did go up by a lot. But as a whole, I think perfectly fine. I didn't expect anything else either. I mean, these are all very talented guys. I know some people have been complaining about the lack of star power relative this year, but that's only something we can really judge in a few years as well. I don't think like Yeon Chung was really considered a massive Well, he was considered a decent player. You know, he had a top 100 debut from like 2 years before that, I think, but mostly built on challenger results in Asia. And I don't think before winning the next gen finals, you know, anyone really thought that he was going to be top 20 in 2 months and make the Australian Open semis.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the whole deal about this event, that we don't know. We just know that these are.
I
all
don't think there was that
very top
much
players.
quote unquote star power last year as well with the.
People are basically
finalists.
saying that Draper and Musetti sort of brought the star power, but that's the most similar.
Oh, I guess
event.
I guess Musetti was there. Yeah. So that's.
Yeah.
I guess Musetti and Draper, maybe.
By the way, speaking of sensational passes, maybe this is even better than what Michelsen hit in that game that you mentioned. Yeah.
Yes.
Medjedovic just drops his racket out of his hand instantly and kind of resigns. But yeah, that's really fantastic.
Wow. Let's see if he can keep his mini break here. As Medjedovic really, you know, put quite a lot of pace on that backhand and stretched Michelsen out. Michelsen was really off balance as he was trying to get back in the rally. Oh. Yeah, we see this pointed to all now, which is a longer exchange. Oh, and wow, Michelsen with the forehand squash shot, drop shot, whatever that was. Oh god,
he barely had any energy left as well.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, he was just dead on his feet when he was trying to get that one back. I mean, that was more Brooksby-ish, like, I guess, with the slice.
Yeah, that's the sort of point that Jensen would play. And maybe if Medjedovic went for a dropper there, or basically anything, he probably wins the point. But he chooses to play this longer slice, which I'm not really sure what it was all about, and throws it out. So that's that reactive sort of shot from Michelsen gives him the point. Still no mini break anymore, but it's better to be free to up than to free up for sure, than to free down for sure. And it's gonna be free all at the change of ends, as Medjedovic just finds a good serve down the tee. I do think that the down the tee direction certainly works for him much better than out wide in general. But yeah, I don't think.
I think in general, Medjedovic has had a lot of success in terms of unreturned serves and also just like first serve points. Like, it's just because I think also his ball toss makes it pretty hard to read. Like, it's fairly low, and he can just, it's he has some good disguise when it comes to the actual serve. But Alex has done well, I would say, since the end of the second set to make that less of a difference,
Yeah.
Because he has also been holding serve pretty comfortably.
Yeah, and I think in a way, Michelsen's ability to hold serve is going to be really
there.
Yeah. I think in a way, Michelsen's ability to hold serve is going to be really important for this event as a whole for him, because the most recent events that we've seen from him, it was a couple of really weak performances where, the serve wasn't doing any damage. And then I think the main difference was actually exactly that in Knoxville and Champaign. And I think in a way this has been a bit of a barometer, if you may, of his game. When that's giving him 3 points, even though he is such a tall guy, right? I mean, when that's a big weapon for him, he definitely has been able to stand out from the pack. Whereas when it was just mediocre and not really doing much damage, that's when you see him struggle a little bit.
Again, Jensen Brooksby, man, 6'4", but he was never really someone who would
Yeah, but yeah, Alex has a much better serve.
Yeah. But then, he was probably a better mover. He was probably had better hands, but not the serve and the forehand. But then again, he was also like just like Brooksby was one of those players when I was just like, man, is he like a combination of like Medvedev, Murray, like Chung, like
Florian Mayer.
Florian
By
Mayer?
the way,
Yeah, Florian
why the
Mayer.
was? I mean, he's still an active, well,
Oh, okay, yeah,
sort
yeah.
of active
I-
tennis player. Yeah, I know why there was, but I think he'll be
It's just
back.
because of
It's just he won't be back
Yeah.
for a really long while. That's a pretty stunning volley from.
But also, it could take him. It could take him a while, like to get back to.
Yeah,
where he was
yeah,
at.
absolutely.
2025, and I think 2025. He won't be really back until 2026, assuming he has no more setbacks.
Well, I guess in 2020 he did not play a single match, and then 2021 he gets from unranked to like what, top 50 at the end of the year. So he's
Yeah.
done it before, sort of.
That's true, but you have to do it the second time. I think that's going to be a little more.
Also after a longer break, I suppose, although for different
not.
reasons.
Yeah, for
We'll see. I mean, for different reasons. Injury was also behind it, but yeah. Anyway, this is the set point that counts. Alex Michelsen.
Yes.
On his serve.
Oh, and this time he's able to get the job done in a longer exchange.
Yep,
And
it's
they're into a
Medjedovic backhand. So 5 sets, and like looking at Medjedovic's recent results and record as well, I know he hasn't exactly done all that poorly since Michelsen got back into the match. Like it's been a fair, 100% like 50-50 affair.
Yeah.
It's just that.
Yeah, they've just been going toe to toe.
Yeah, like recently he's
So-
had issues with this, like finishing the matches, finishing the
Okay.
opponents off, lacking that sort of killer instinct, I guess.
Hmm.
And yeah, if he loses this from that position, from that sort of position, I think it will be just another sort of layer to that story.
Hmm.
Similar on the unreturned serves as well by now. Michelsen 8 out of 21, Medjedovic 9 out of 19. Medjedovic actually only lost 3 points on serve in this game, in this set, yeah, and he still lost it though. So no break points whatsoever during the 6 games. This one's actually fairly long as well for a fast 4 match, under 2 hours, and we're already arriving in the 5th. But of course, that's because of the tie breaks, all of the tie breaks that we've played so far.
Yeah,
There's going to be some.
What is Medjedovic's standout ATP results this year? Is it the one in Sofia where
back
he
to
lost
back
to...
ATP? No. Sofia? Back to back ATP 250.
Astana.
Not back to back, but ATP 250 semis, 2 of them, Astana and Gstaad. Gstaad, he qualifies, makes the semis, loses to Kachin, a pretty horrific performance, but up until that point,
Oh, okay. I totally forgot about
beats
the
Dominic
Stad
Thiem,
one.
right? He beats Dominic Thiem along the way, I think. Beats him for the 2nd time this year after Mauthausen. And then, of course, as you mentioned, Astana semis, where he was super close to breaking the top 100. He actually played the deciding tiebreak for it.
Yeah.
Against Seppi Korda, where they both cannot touch their serves throughout the match. 36 service holds. I'm not even sure if there was a break point, honestly.
Yeah.
And that's been the standout results. Of course, other than that, he's also won 3 challengers, I think. Sakesh-Hervar, Mauthausen, and Mallorca. So, yeah, great year. Just lacked that one final push for the top 100. And maybe, he's probably going to have to play qualities in Australia. I mean, he's like 110 in the rankings. Yeah, 110. He can still be passed by Mo. He can be passed by Martinez, Kovacevic if Kovacevic was to win the title in Temuco, Per if he was to win Maya. So yeah, it's still pretty rough. I think he's probably gonna have to play qualies. But
I
he's
wonder if
qualified
Rafa.
already, so yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. John is talking about the Rafa fans and their dislike towards Medjedovic.
That way.
Oh, huh.
Like Medjedovic maybe, but Shelby, it's not that big a connection, you know. If you were to do that with Shelby, you could do it with like many players in the Rafa Nadal Academy. No, they're not gonna care about Coleman Wong, Abdullah Shelby. Who else is there? Daniel Rincon, Martin Landaluce, and like if they were to actually extend their dislike for Nadal, I think they would start disliking Alcaraz. And with Medjedovic, I don't know. It depends how big Medjedovic is as well, because if you're like not, I don't know, a real top, elite player, then no one is gonna care about something like that, right?
Yeah. Chances are he's going to be closer in success to Troicki than he is to Djokovic. So yeah.
Yeah, Matthew talks about the ill discipline against Korda, and yeah, that's been the main issue, I guess, for Hamad recently, and as a whole in his career as well. And that's why I also think that he's currently not the most that Michelsen has like a bit of an edge mentally, having claimed the last 2 sets, but it's still super close. I mean, this was a set where Medjedovic loses 3 points on serve, so I mean, he very easily could have won.
Yeah, I mean, he was 2 points away from winning this match in the third.
Yep. Matthew, I hope the Kecmanovic we saw in Davis Cup we will see in 2024. Absolutely. That was like
yes,
on
me
par,
too. Me too.
On par with his.
I need him to
Miami.
be aggressive and come forward and finish points at net.
I don't think we'll get it though.
Then
I honestly can't.
I don't think so either because it took us 18 months to get it here, So
I just don't
but,
think it's
that being said, he did
really.
make.
Yeah.
He made the 250 finals, right? Estoril and then I think Delray Beach. Where he took a set off of Fritz.
Delray beat Estoril, but they weren't. Estoril maybe was really impressive because he was serving well, but Delray, it felt like he kind of lacked into that final, honestly. That was a weird event as well. Radu Albot made the semis out of nowhere in 2023, and of course,
that's because he took advantage of a sick Tommy Paul.
Yeah.
He beat Paul 6-2, 6-2.
Exactly. A few years ago, I mean...
And I was like, I knew something is wrong.
Yeah, precisely. A few years ago, Radu Albot won Delray Beach, but yeah, right now, not really.
Yep.
Ernest, by the way, when it comes to your question, it's Medjedovic who is on the medical timeout, but it doesn't seem to be anything really serious.
He seems to be...
Michelsen was in the toilet anyway, so like it's a pretty long break for both players, really. But yeah, we haven't really seen any signs of a Medjedovic injury so far, so it's probably just like some light treatment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't trust Kecmanovic. I don't trust him to repeat it. I just feel like it's not really in him, That sort of ability to step out of his comfort zone, it only really comes and goes for him. And yeah,
he might have another purple patch again, but I just don't see him.
Yeah, over the course of the full year, I don't really see it.
No.
Yeah. He's in this sort of weird spot where I think it's hard to see how he should improve from here, but it's also hard to point out like major weaknesses in his game. It's just really all about sort of trusting himself. And that's actually kind of hard to pull off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, more good serving from Medjedovic so far. Is there any like bandage taping? Not really, right?
Nope, nothing.
I think
not that we see
something
visibly. Yeah.
Legs that it was getting treatment, but I'm not even sure about that. I mean, the way they were showing it from the camera angle, it was pretty hard to tell. So.
I guess so. We're starting out the day with a 5-setter, and we're ending it with a 5-setter.
Yes, indeed. And then we had 2 4-setters in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm. So you're still looking at about a 10-hour day which I guess in tennis is less. So a 10
Yeah,
hour
but there was
workday is
also a
something
break,
people will be
right?
happy with.
There was also a
Yeah,
break
with a
between,
break in between
like
the
50
sessions.
minutes or something like that. Yeah, 55 maybe.
Yeah. 55, was that after the second match?
More or less, yeah. Because the not
Oh, wow, how did
before,
that flew by?
huh? Come again?
Okay, because it's a not before 8 or
Yeah,
not
it's a not
before.
before 8. On the evening
Yeah.
session, it's not before 8, so that's why there was a break. Yes.
Yeah. Right.
I'm thinking, yeah, tomorrow I should be back for the evening session, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna even be able to watch the one in the afternoon. But I guess this group is more interesting now. Well, maybe actually Nardi and Striker could be one of the matches of the. Well, yeah, let's see how Dominic looks physically, but like that's suddenly a very interesting match tomorrow, given how both guys look today. And of course, Michelsen or Medjedovic against Van Asch, that will be a bit of a highlight, and also, to check out if Shelbike will produce any magic again.
Does this format make the players take the competition less seriously?
Doesn't seem like it.
I mean, how much do you get per? Yeah, I mean, there's still quite a lot of money here, right? Like per match.
Just participation gives you like 150,000. So,
And then per round robin, I think if you go undefeated this whole week, you get 500 and something thousand US dollars.
yeah, I don't think anyone has ever really taken it less seriously. Like maybe some guys that we've had, like Musetti last year, who was unsure whether to play it. I don't know if we actually saw that in his game. He lost to Striker, he lost to Draper. That's normal.
Yeah, those are the two guys you would expect him to struggle against, even when he's very healthy. So,
I don't know if we really got any confirmation of that. I thought we might be getting it with Fields today, but then he actually fought for it really hard and was pumping himself up and got himself to into the match. So yeah, I think we haven't really seen any players struggling with motivation here. It's a lot of money. It's a fun event.
yeah, and plus the deciding points only heighten the tension.
Maybe they actually have have fun with the format as well. I'm assuming that's something that they will be asked a lot this week, right? What do you think about the scoring system and etc.? I don't know how many journalists will actually be there in Jeddah. Like, who the hell knows?
Yeah. I would guess Reem will be there.
Oh yeah, Reem should be there for sure. Yeah, especially for Shelbike. I think she's done a lot of work on him since there's this whole like Arabic common identity, right? And, like,
yeah, 500,000. Yeah, I mean the prize pool is 2 million, which is the most they've ever offered. So
yeah, which is why people say that it's kind of weird that Shelton and Musetti can skip it. But well, I mean, they don't need that sort of money. That's the reality.
I mean, Shelton has made more money from endorsements and then also like his slam runs and just
and
the general
Musetti
success.
Still gets a lot of sponsorships. I mean, even sort of fashion wise, I know he's posed as a model, but stuff like that. But yeah, even the on-court earnings, the reality is that they are so rich, they don't really care about this amount of money all that much. I'm sure it's a motivator here. Yeah, absolutely, but they don't actually need it. And I guess it goes for a lot of these players because you have basically the brightest young prospects of their generation. So a lot of these will not actually play for the money, but like it will be, something for them, like definitely help them out a little bit in the next season, but it won't be like the main priority because they actually have like good enough sponsorships for the most part. I don't know who here really could be one that struggles with getting just on a weekly basis from tournament to tournament. Probably no one really. Maybe Medjedovic if he didn't have the Djokovic support. I could imagine that, but no. But all the other guys, they still get a lot of great endorsements, and yeah, they're probably still young enough and talented enough to be well off, at least for the time being. But of course, this money will help to get themselves set in the
Get
2024
injured or
campaign.
something. Yeah, if you were to pick up an injury and then you're out for 6 months or something, it can be helpful.
If you're
then.
not playing, sure.
Is the physio coming out again for Hamad?
I don't know.
I don't know. I couldn't tell. It just went to a commercial. But yeah.
Yeah. The physio is coming again. Yes, and it seems like he's massaging his shin. So that's where the issue is located. It's the left leg. Yeah, left calf, shin,
left
or
calf,
whatever.
Okay. Yeah. The attendance is improved here. It's not good for the sport. Yeah.
Oh right, yeah.
I would imagine that
right.
maybe.
Yes. I also mixed it up because I saw your comment and I was like, yeah, left. But yeah, it is right. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on the crowds and the atmosphere so far? Is it good because they're less people, but they're just moving around all over the place and.
Yeah, I mean, there's no atmosphere. There's not much of a crowd, even though the tickets are really cheap. We checked that today earlier because Ghosty was asking about it. But we expected that, right? And Shellbike doesn't seem to be that much of like a player who
he's
really
not
bring
really
them
a huge draw
a
yet.
draw.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for. And also after the match between Shellbach and Vanash, I heard a bit of the Vanash interview. And the first question was literally, how was it to play against Abdullah here? Because, the crowd support for him and etc. And I was like, I don't think in this particular match it was that important. And by the way, Lorenzo Sonego throwing his cash out on priority boarding in Ryanair, I've never done that. Anytime I'm flying Ryanair or Wizz Air, it's always just a regular non-priority. I pack up the backpack, in a way where nothing will fit into it anymore, and also have this trick. Well, I take off my coat and I actually put like another small, like even a bag or something like that in it, and then that's how I get on board, and they have no issue with that. So yeah, maybe he really needed to have that additional baggage or something, so that's why he got priority boarding. But yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare to fly these airlines when you don't have any luggage on really other than the one backpack. But well, I do it to save
Doesn't
some money.
Sonego have like a really big hit music song
Yeah.
that he's done, like something on Spotify?
Yeah, he has.
That. Yeah, that's him, right? Yeah. He might be even more famous for that right now than his tennis.
Maybe. I mean, he did pretty well at the Davis Cup. He did secure a couple of points. In the doubles. Well, along with this one other Italian guy who's like not that impressive, but he was there with Sonego, so we sort of have to mention it. I mean, his name is like Yannick Sinner, I think, and he's also won this event.
I don't know. I don't know him. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, he's won this event in the past.
The last 2 months.
I think he's like one of the most random winners of this event so far, because you've got the mega talents like Yeon Chong or Brandon Nakashima, but then somehow like this Italian wildcard, yeah. But anyway, yeah, Sonego, he does have this musical number of his, and I don't really remember how it sounds. I only remember Mute and Chapeau's Drip, but I don't remember the Sonego one. I think it was like a rap-ish thing, but I am not sure.
Yeah,
maybe I just gave Jane some ideas. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if they even notice or not. Like maybe I'm fine to get there with that bag hidden in my coat. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm not gonna ask, because if I do and it's not allowed, then of course they're gonna make me pay. Are the crowds thin? Yeah, they are. There are some people. We've seen some kids even in the morning, but yeah, they actually are. That's a sick return from Medjedovic, and looks like that will be well, virtual match points for him.
Yes, deciding point right here. That was such a good return.
Deciding point so late in the match.
Mm-hmm.
Just 8 seconds here, of course, for
Yeah, this is a huge point right here. Oh wow, and he gets an unreturned second serve. Medjedovic is not happy with that.
Yeah, he was trying to blast
Because
it.
he was
I
just
guess,
about to
so,
slam his.
you know.
Yeah.
It's a fine error, but still,
Mm.
it was a big
Yeah,
opportunity.
he'd have wanted to see how that point would play out if, you know, he got into the rally, but Michelsen is probably feeling very relieved.
Yeah,
Rubla is
someone
one
may come.
direction cover. Yes, Rubla better every second day.
Yeah, I know that one. Yeah, I know that one. Someone is also in my comments on Twitter saying about this, you know, recent pattern for Medjedovic. So like Korda, tight match lost. Hassan, tight match lost. O'Connell, tight match lost. Menchik, tight match lost. And now we have Alex Michelsen. So we'll see how Hamad performs, especially maybe when we get to a tiebreak, or if we get to a tiebreak, I want to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would definitely fall into a bit of a recent streak of not finishing the job, and especially as some of these matches were so winnable for him. You know, against Menchik he was 6-4 and 5-3 up. Against Hassan, I mean, you kind of expect him to have to win that, but the Korda one probably not as oppressive, sort of. But yeah, I think the last. Well, the last two times.
Whoa, look at that short angle.
Played well, yeah.
This short angle of the forehand.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere. Barely
Not
cleared
sure
the net.
how accidental that was, but it's a fine
Barely
shot.
cleared it. It looked like it was going to hit the net cord and then, you know, do something, and
The replay on Michelsen was also funny. Like how he started moving to it and then suddenly just no, I mean, no way I'm getting there. 15 all then.
This time he just blasts another forehand. Medjedovic, and Michelsen is like stretching, trying to do the Brooksby shot that he miraculously pulled off once.
Yeah. This was like the classic Medjedovic no footwork forehand.
Yeah, just straight up hit it.
Straight up brutal power, no footwork. I guess recently I've watched a lot of no footwork players because there was this 3-hour Fabio Fognini Challenger final on Sunday. So
yeah, Fognini, Kyrgios is like that. Doesn't really move his feet. Just such a lively wrist. Again, it's the power of the backhand that just leaves Michelsen just stranded.
Yeah.
And he has to
That's
literally lunge to get his
but
bracket on it, you know.
that's also been like a theme of the match, more or less, where
Yeah.
Michelsen is
I assume
Medjedovic
when
is able to
Michelsen,
do this to Michelsen not so much the other way around.
yeah, we'll see if this off season. Well, I mean, like barely an off season right now, but
Yeah.
Oh, looks like Michelsen. Oh no, looks like
Oh,
Hamad is
yeah,
cramping.
that's a
Oh wow,
that's a violent cramp on his
ouch.
right calf. So where he was getting treatment earlier.
Ah shit. Okay, this that does not look
another
good.
one change of end.
Somehow
Yeah.
he has to just he somehow just has to hold here, otherwise.
Hold here and then it's gonna be fine, but
Yeah,
he cannot
because he'll get a rub from the physio and the change of ends, and then
exactly, but he cannot put his serve into the court, I guess. I haven't even seen the serve and where it landed because the camera was still on Medjedovic and what he's gonna do with his leg.
Ouch.
But yeah, now the clock is down to 0. I don't know if he's gonna get a warning.
Yeah, he got a warning.
Got a warning. Yeah.
So now it's
Fair enough.
Okay.
No mercy from the umpire, but I guess that's how it should be. The rules are
Yeah.
there for them to be. What? That's a let. Okay, yeah, that's not ideal for Hamad in his position right now.
Oh wow, but he gets the ace, and he's gonna be ultra relieved. But now he's yeah.
Thankfully, he's used to playing with no legs, right? So
Yeah, he's okay. Yeah, top 5 no footwork players. Fonini has to be up there. Uh, Fonini, Kyrgios. I don't know. Who else doesn't really use their feet?
Um, Damian Kust on his forehand, he kind of cheats. Yeah, sort of Fonini like. Although that's the only thing I have from Fonini. Maybe other than the gesticulation, I guess. The Italian gene in me. I don't actually know if I have an Italian gene. I don't know. I'm struggling to come up with like some other no footwork guys. Who's like this, yeah, Medjedovic type of build, and I don't know. There was a question: Are either of you going to read the Osaka book by Ben Rothenberg? Ben, I'm sorry if you're reading this, but I mean, if you're listening to this, I'm just not interested in it at all. Yeah.
I haven't decided yet, actually, but I haven't.
I have this. I have decided the moment I saw the book.
I don't think I'll have the time. But, like, also, I don't know if I'm gonna need to. I also don't know if I'll learn anything new. That's the thing.
I
Because,
think you
like,
would.
I don't know if I'm just basing that on
Uh-huh.
on the there was this one documentary that came out about Naomi, and I just learned nothing new. Even though I find her pretty interesting and I do like her, but
There would be a lot of info there. I just don't know if it would
Yeah.
be info that's
hopefully it'll
interesting to
be
me.
good, and there'll be some
I mean, good luck,
good
Ben.
stuff in it. Yeah,
But yeah, I personally I'm not invested in it at all.
it's of course very timely because she's making
Yeah.
it coming at a good time.
Oh, Ben will
Maybe
surely
I'll
want
actually
to
read
talk
it.
about it.
I'm not gonna say yes or no. I'm not gonna say yes or no right now, but maybe if it's good and some it has some good reviews and everything, I'll definitely read it.
Ben will surely want to
Maybe,
talk
I don't
about
know.
it.
Yeah.
Kissy faces at the crowd when I play. I don't really play with crowds, maybe in table tennis it happened to me a few times that, well, it wasn't like a proper crowd, but it was like all the other players from the event, right? We're left with like the semis or the final, and then they watch. Yeah, that happened to me a few times, and I'm definitely a showman in that regard. Or like when we were playing some team events, I would definitely react, in some way. But yeah, I just haven't really played enough with the crowd in tennis to tell you if I would make kissy faces, but probably not, probably not. But I know I would actually have like a lot of reactions, and yeah.
I played a final once in Barnes Tennis Center, and I would say 70 people or ish were watching, and it was in the
Okay.
stadium court. And I would say 90% of them were rooting for my opponent.
Ugh.
Because there was this Spanish player, and pretty much everyone, or his whole family and everything from Mexico, they all came and were basically saying "vamos" on every point that he won. And I was just, I was 12 or 13, and I don't think I dealt with it in the best way.
Yeah.
I think I let it get to me. And I remember I was not the favorite in that match, but I lost the first set 6-1. I was up 4-2. I had game point in the second set, and I would have, I was playing a lot better, but I just let the crowd kind of get into my head a little bit too much. I started getting distracted, and my level started to drop, and eventually I lost the match in straights. But
it sounds rough for a young
used to-
kid as well. Yeah.
I was just not used to the people watching in general.
Yeah, I once played this match where I like didn't really have anyone with me there. Maybe someone was watching for like a moment or something, but the other guy had like 6 friends with him, and I actually let just them get to me a lot. There was a point when I just argued with one of them on a line call. I mean, they were just standing, outside. I called the ball out. The guy says that it was in, and I'm like, "Can you get here and show me the mark?" Like, what the hell are you supposed to like, why are you calling this? And I actually ended up giving the point. Well, not giving the point, but replaying the point. And I think all of that, compared to my opponent's like moonball-ish playstyle, I think it really got to me very quickly. And soon enough, my forehand was just like completely AWOL, and I lost the match in straights as well. I felt like I was the way better player, like technically though, but yeah, it just couldn't compete against him in like this environment. I think I was just also really mentally tired after the whole day because it was like the 5th match that day or something like that. And I think the mental fatigue got to me as well. Anyway, the physical fatigue or the cramps are not getting to Medjedovic right now, who's just got 2 mini breaks and like slammed a couple of forehands.
Slamming these forehands, yeah, exactly. Just beating Michelsen for pace. But here he double faults, so he does get one of the breaks. Michelsen gets one of the breaks back, so let's see. Oh, and he finds another ridiculous pass. This one was so ridiculous because, wow. Look at that one.
Now I see it. Oh yeah, another sharp angle.
Medjedovic doesn't know what to do with it. And somehow he just finds that angle off of a really low forehand slice approach. So he just stayed really low, and to get that cross court and get that kind of angle around it is definitely pretty impressive.
He had quite a lot of time on it, but yeah.
Yeah,
certainly
but the
the
angle
best
was
shot
sharp
to play in this
So I
scenario.
like the
so-
yeah, yeah, the
And,
fact that it was a clean winner is
Every
something
winner
he's
is
shown us
clean,
before. So yes.
And I guess that's 3-all, as now Medjedovic sends out this backhand long. So yeah, from a great position, it fell apart very quickly for Medjedovic, which again would be kind of fitting for how his last few months have gone. But also, well, some of that is probably on the cramping and like it interfering with his judgment and shot selection. But we'll see. Still has
Yeah.
a chance here. It's just a few points that he needs to get done. But yeah, it doesn't seem like he's doing too well at the moment.
Oh, and Michelsen comes up with an ace slider out wide. Kind of
it's
short
like
in the
his
box, but
second or third probably like this in this match, and all of them have been really great. Yeah, they fall very short. They don't have a lot of power on them, obviously, because of the
Yeah.
spin, but they are absolutely ungettable.
But there he'll be disappointed. He just missed a neutral backhand. That's a freebie.
Oh yeah, yeah. The contact
That's
point.
a
I mean,
gift.
he just like one step forward and it's fine, right? But
Yeah.
just didn't take that one extra step, and literally one more step forward, and you're in a great position to hit that ball. But well, 4-all, and we now have a complete chaos and like utter madness. We have no clue who's gonna win this match,
Ooh,
which
but-
is also where we were 2 hours and 27 minutes ago.
Yes, this time Medjedovic hits a good spot on the second serve. Michelsen is, hits a block return to get it back into play, but he has to stretch, and Medjedovic has a lot of time on the backhand cross
Yeah.
+1. So
Still pretty nice for him to find this, because I've seen him miss this shot a lot of the time, and with the cramp,
Right,
it's probably
yeah.
not that easy.
and if Michelsen gets that block return a little bit lower or something like that, maybe he has another chance to.
Yeah,
defend
that's how
and
he
not
got that
approach
first
defense.
great pass,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Oh, and he's actually in this point as well on the return, and he just slams another forehand cross court, and Michelsen is getting beaten for pace again. And actually, it's this cramping is freeing him up.
Yeah.
To where he's just, he's hitting bigger and bigger because
It happens to players, yeah.
Yeah. It's the classic.
I think Alexis Galarneau is my favorite example. I think he plays his best matches when he's injured. That's when he just really goes for it, you know. And
Yeah.
then it suddenly turns out he doesn't have to be like a just a pretty, like, let's say, pretty fast, solid baseline player, but he actually has a lot of different layers to him as well.
So yeah, once again, yeah, I mean, yeah, amazing win right here. The last 3 points, he was under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Well, of course, and also just the second half of the match in general. With once Michelsen broke back in the second set, we had a match, and it's one delivered. Quite a lot of drama in the end, and Medjedovic will be happy that he's broken his streak of losing these type of tight, close matches. And yeah, we'll see if Michelsen can recover now in time,
Yeah.
because that's quite a brutal loss physically. But then again, these are the two best players of the group. This is your Feast versus Stricker matchup of this group.
Depends. I mean, Luka Vanash. I agree with
Yeah.
you, but I know that they're sort of treated like, as a freeway
But
tie.
definitely, what we would have said, before the event, these are your top 4 players. We would have said Feast, Stricker, Medjedovic, and Michelsen. Like those would have been
Well,
anyone's
I think
top 4.
Vanash deserves to be in the conversation, even though I always underestimate him. For the bookies, the title favorite, Vanash would also be fared. So
Yes, second. He has the second seed, and I'd say he has the
Yeah.
highest floor maybe right now.
he deserves to be mentioned. I agree with you,
Yeah.
but I think especially regarding Michelsen, there was a lot of question marks. Some of
Yeah.
them have been solved, but then again, he's 0-1 down, so this
Yes,
much doesn't
yes.
really help him to. Like he has to
Luka
beat Vanash.
Vanash.
Basically, he has to beat Vanash. Like that. That's really the main thing, I think. Unless Vanash beats Medjedovic, then it might get really tricky.
I could see Vanash being like the Pegula of the top 5. Which yeah, he's an easy one to underestimate. Is what I mean. Damien had a Rublev moment. Yeah, yeah. Rublev, Pegula. Yeah, I mean.
In what way? Rublev Pegula moment?
Just like in the fact that he's estimated, but the floor is pretty high and consistent.
Yeah. Basically, before the event, I sort of thought of this way. Like, Vanash is not holding up too well on the main tour, but this is a level he should be more comfortable with. He won the Challenger 1-5 in Po at the beginning of the season, right? So he beat Hugonbert there. So like this probably should be a decent level for him. I think we still haven't really seen, it answered because he hasn't played Medjedovic and Michelsen. But I actually would have picked Medjedovic to come out of the group first and Michelsen second. But yeah, this will really depend very likely on, well, whether Medjedovic can now beat Vanash and whether Michelsen can beat Vanash as well. So it's pretty close. I think Vanash definitely deserves to be in the conversation, though. I am well aware of the fact that I'm mostly like underestimating him a ton, just because of how he's solid but like sort of uninspiring, and I tend to gravitate towards maybe like someone like Medjedovic with just brutal power. And Michelsen was definitely out of the 4 guys that you mentioned, like the guy that no one was certain about, and like everyone was just he might win his group 3-0. He might also barely win a match, and both cases can still be true. Well, no, he can't win the group 3-0, but he can actually, still have a great run. But he can also struggle. But well, today I think he showed that he absolutely belongs with these guys, and that's good. After the re-break in the second set, he was just as good as Medjedovic. So
yeah.
Anything else left to add?
Not really, to be honest. I mean, Shibayo, what? Abdullah against both of these guys will be fun to watch as well. And this whole group is very exciting in general.
Yeah.
And I think because all these players in general, the 8 players are fairly.
I looked at the
even
screen, John,
close
by
in
the way.
level.
So I looked at the screen. I just don't care about your delusional. I don't know. What is it? What is that even? Yeah, anyway, sorry, Vansh, continue.
Yeah. So, but yeah, as a whole, these players are like pretty evenly matched. It's pretty good. We may not have like the standout star power, quote unquote star power, but these players do something next year, especially well, really all of them. I think there's going to be quite a lot of interest. Anyways, from people like us, it's not going to be the most watched event. It doesn't help that it's going into December for most fans, but I think they'll tune in for the semis and the finals at least, and especially for some of these round robin matches. Yeah, quote unquote. That's more of an American thing, I think. It's like when you're quoting other people who also quote others.
Yeah. Someone earlier today called me I can't remember what it was. I think someone said that I'm turning into John Silk or something like that because I said bugger off to Ghosty. But I think I've been saying that for a while. I don't think I've heard John say it either.
Yeah.
It's just a polite version of the actual phrase that I would typically use in such a situation. And bugger off is also just ghosting.
Actually, there's one phrase that I used today that John used once before, I think somewhere on the stream. I think, and he said the proverbial. I used that today.
He
said that today for some
all the time. He doesn't give a flying proverbial. Yeah.
Proverbial. Yeah.
That's one that I probably have never heard from anyone but him. If I start using it, I will know that it's a John Silk influence. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
During the Bonn week in January, I noticed that at some point I started sort of putting an accent on different syllables, like Mario. Like I started saying, in this Italian way of the last syllable being, pasta or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I literally started pronouncing some words this way. Then, of course, I had to leave Bonn and Mario as well, and thankfully my way of speech got back to normal. But I did see that influence like very quickly. 4 or 5 days with Mario, and I already was saying a few words like an Italian.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, I guess this is probably going to be it, right? And thank you to all the guys in the chat. Thank you, Vansh. This was a very fun match. I think probably the best of today. Well, maybe along with Nardi and Fields. So yeah, great beginning of the NextGen finals. More sort of mystery and more just drama and excitement in terms of tomorrow. So yeah, keep watching that event. It's worth it.
Yeah, keep watching and keep tuning into Talking Tennis because we are aiming to hit 5,000 subscribers. Yeah, by the end of the year, and we're not that far away, and I think we can do it. So yeah, just keep tuning in for these live streams because we're going to. It's going to be good. And yeah, I think with that, we're ready to sign off unless you've got anything else.
Yeah, that's fine for me. Again, thank you. See you later.
Yep.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.